Let's begin the countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go.
Hello viewers, I'm Nikhil Kalan and I welcome you to the back half of the 2025 PGTI season. The stakes are much higher this time around and the competition promises to be even more intense. So let's begin our journey on the back nine of the 2025 PGTI season.
You just can't miss the scenic Sabarmati riverfront or the majestic and record-breaking Narendra Modi Stadium, where every success is celebrated with energy-packed dandiya and garba. Welcome to the Kensville Golf and Country Club, the place where flora, fauna and families meet together. Situated in the idyllic location of Dev Dolra, 40 kilometers from Ahmedabad, it is surrounded by places of historical, cultural and environmental significance. Kensville is home to one of India's leading championship venues.
The halfway cut fell at 5 over 149. 53 professionals and 1 amateur made the cut. Delhi's Shaurya Bhattacharya shot a 66 on day 2 to be placed third at 7 under 137. Angad Cheema of Chandigarh, who was the overnight joint leader along with Malik, posted a 67 on day 2 to be placed second at 8 under 136. Amardeep Malik's hot putter helped him surge ahead by 2 strokes in round 2 of the Coal India Open, a 1 crore event being played at the Kensville Golf and Country Club in Ahmedabad. The Noida-based Amardeep struck a score of 7 under 65 on Wednesday to total 10 under 134 for the week.
Very nice language swing, very consistent. And hitting a driver of 10, so definitely throwing caution to the wind. The 10th is a par 4, maybe about 430 odd yards. And most of the players you'd see would go with a 3-wood, but if you're rather aggressive, then you would go with a driver. And that's what he has opted to do. But it is the third day. You only have 27 more holes to go. And as they say, no guts, no glory. Somebody who's walking towards glory is Amardeep Malik. Recently married and also bestowed with a child. So maybe that's the luck that is helping him here. Amardeep Malik, proud papa at 12 under par and opening a 4-shot lead. Good scores all around today. Seems that slightly better day for scoring as opposed to the first two. Also given that the fact that the players who have made the cut are in fine form. From those who are out on the course, we have Dhruv Sharon at 2 under par for the day. Harinder Gupta, 2 under par. Badal Hussain from Bangladesh, also 2 under par. You see that perfectly manicured fairways. Probably the best conditions. Rainy season, nice lush green. More difficult for the golfers though. But as far as the viewer is concerned, it's pretty aesthetic. Lush green fairways, thick rough. And of course, some carbohydrate for the player. Arjun needs that. Seems like it's going to be hot, humid conditions going ahead.
Sure, isn't it fabulous to be back here at the Kensville Golf and Country Club for the Coal India Open, which is the inaugural Coal India Open that is being held on the PGT of India for a prize purse of 1 crore. We've got an exciting day ahead, and also this also happens to be the venue for the last tournament that you played.
Now we're really having to jog my memory, yeah. We really have to
Might
think
want to
back.
sprint towards it rather than
I'm trying
jog
to,
into
I'm,
it,
I'm
please.
trying
would
to
you?
recall which tournament that was. Would have only ended in ignominy. So I wouldn't quite remember what I did there. But the Professional Golf Tour of India Q School used to happen there. And so that used to be my favorite haunt.
And the conditions over here this week are very different from what the Q School timing is like. Usually plays very hard and fast during the Q School time in January. But this time, as the players tell us, the course is playing much softer and much longer. Greens are holding up, and the challenge of the wind still remains, but the wind is playing in the opposite direction of what it usually does for when the players are used to.
The Winds of Change, my friend. Very good song.
Back at it, are we? So, in the back nine of the PGTI also has just started from this week, and we are also here at the back nine of the penultimate round for this week's event. Shaurya, what do you think of the really action-packed season that we have ahead of us, all the way up till December?
Well, for one, am extremely impressed by the schedule that we have for the players. You almost envy them the tournaments that they are playing, big prize purses week after another. And what I really do think for the players is it's so important that they keep their fitness in check, because there's some big checks to be made if you can stay the course.
Absolutely. As we take a look at Jamal Hussain Molla,
Coming in with maybe a sandwich. He's very proficient with these clubs, is Jamal. Arjun now probably in the best position of the group. Center left of the fairway to that flag. Can try and put some cheese on it and attack it. Arjun currently at 3 under par, so there's a lot of daylight between him and Mr. Malik. That's his not his best effort there, leaving that a little short.
well, as the day's proceedings will be moving forward, he's at 3 under par right now through the front nine of the penultimate day. If he can put up another maybe 3 to 4 under par in the back nine, I think he'll still have a good chance and a shot at this tomorrow, unless Amardeep really starts firing up on all cylinders going into that back nine.
Yeah, definitely looks that way. Right now, all the cylinders are primed, and he's firing like a 6-cylinder V2 engine. And look at that.
Absolutely
Brilliant
fabulous
by
shot.
Arjun. If he has to usurp the champion, this is how you get it done. That should move him to 4 under par. Brilliant shot, I must say.
Everybody in that top 10 right now is primed up with lots of under pars. Udyan Mane, the Olympian, also at 3 under par for the day and 3 under par for the tournament. Jamal Hussain somehow has a way of getting around into that top 5, doesn't he? Week after week, he's up at 5 under par by being 3 under through this front nine.
Yeah, he's been safe as a house, I tell you. We've been seeing him for years, and somehow you always find him in and around the leaderboard. And I would say that is a great quality for a professional sportsman. Yeah, to be around where the action's happening, and especially in golf, it keeps you in the heat, in the battle, and it tells you that your game is trending in the right direction.
Absolutely. In fact, Amardeep Malik also starting up with those 2 birdies, being at 2 under par for the start of the day. He's playing quite well. In fact, as his interview went, he said he's hardly had any time over the last 2 to 3 months to be able to practice, but seems to be working out pretty well so far.
I think that's one thing I can try. I've tried everything, nothing's worked. Maybe this is the Hail Mary that I was looking for, my friend Rahul.
You've not been practicing for quite some time now. I think about time you give it a shot.
Yes, as they say, if it doesn't work the first time, keep trying.
In fact, our friend Tommy Fleetwood, who is also coming here to the Delhi Golf Club to play the DP World Tour event, in fact, happens to be, he made a YouTube video just about a few hours ago saying that he's trying to break 100 playing left-handed. So I guess he's trying his own luck in his own way now, just like you're trying without practicing.
Yeah, that's my aim as well. Break 100 right-handed. You never know.
Well, one day, my friend.
One day, my friend, getting there. It's always good to have you in the commentator's booth to keep things light, but not for the players. It's very serious there on the golf course.
Oh, is it?
Rahul? It's
Serious it is. Serious business
it's not
for the
all
players.
laughs and fun times like it is here.
Really, is it? I mean, a little bit of humor thrown in couldn't have hurt anyone. I think. What do you think, Shaurya? I think the player on the screen is definitely feeling the heat as of now, but doesn't have to. It's a ball that needs to go into the hole at the end of the day.
Easier said than done. That ball doesn't quite acquiesce, has a mind of its own. That's Manoj there, Manoj S. Left that shot a little short. Now has put a little bit too much heat on that putt, and we'll have a testing 5-footer. Breaking right to left, and he'll have to hold that in order to secure his par. From what I hear from the players' feedback is that the greens are proving to be rather difficult for them to navigate this week. The greens running a touch slower than what they used to because of the monsoon conditions, and that is making it a little difficult for the players.
Manoj S from Karnataka Golf Association. He's playing his first year on the tour in just a tender age of 17 years, already playing at the big stage.
That's really impressive. What were you doing, my friend, at 17? Pretty certain that not everything can be elaborated here, but I have a fair idea. Up to no good, I'm assuming.
Absolutely no good.
As you have a look at Jamal here.
Amardeep drops his first shot of the day down to 11 under par, reducing that gap between him and Chima.
I would say the commentator's curse had started early in the morning. It's a thankless job, I tell you. You can only get it wrong. Jamal letting that one slip by. I would have thought that he would have made it. He's very good from that 12 to 14 feet range. The very good putting stroke does Jamal. You know, he's one of those golfers that pound for pound, he gets everything. He extracts the most out of the game of golf. You know, he is the one who really squeezes the lemon of life, so as to speak. He extracts everything from his game of golf. Every week he's under par, hitting all the fairways, optimizing his short game. Good on him.
As Arjun gets ready to make his birdie here on the 10th.
That was a really nice shot, and what I like that he was able to place that drive there and then really utilize that. And let's see if he can capitalize on it. He takes 3 good shots to make a birdie, and he does so with ease. Well done, young man.
Arjun Prasad also has found a way to make his game really consistent over the last year or so. We've been seeing very good finishes from him. Just waiting for him to actually be able to, close the door on a victory. It's he's been knocking on that door for quite some time. As we take a look at Manoj S, the 17-year-old from Karnataka.
Yeah, this is a difficult one. Shows you that the hole is probably about 6 to 8 inches below his level, so not the easiest. He'll have to navigate quite a considerable break, and there you go. I think that's youth, the inexperience of youth at this point in time. He went beyond the hole and left himself a difficult putt, but obviously he's a brilliant player. He'll figure it out.
Absolutely, I think it's just starting days for Manoj, and he's had a bit of a rough start at the start of the day today with 4 over par through the front line. I guess he will figure out a way to make amends there.
Now that is the man, the machine, Yuvraj Sandhu. What a player.
Man, the machine also has been trying to find his own form, hasn't he? We haven't seen him in the winner's circle for quite some time. I think he's been trying to ply his trade in the international waters for the last year or two.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things about being an international player, that you have to sort of carry your game everywhere, get accustomed to travel. And but what I feel that his ball striking doesn't quite waver. Of course, the scores can sometimes not be optimized. But I think he has a great future ahead of him and has performed really well in years past. So would be exciting to watch him. He does have the firepower to overpower this golf course, and Amardeep and Angad need to look in the rear view mirror. I'll tell you that much.
Now it's talking about the future. We've got Colin Joshi. Colin Joshi on the tee. Colin has been a very good player in the past and has also won the Panasonic Open Championship a few years ago. In fact, that's an Asian Tour event, and just gunning for his next victory is Colin. Colin also comes from Bengaluru.
Yeah, Cullen tends to blow hot and cold. You either see him in the top five, or he tends to not be around the contention every week. But when he's on, you definitely see him contending for the win. And that's, I think, in large part due to his game off the tee. A very powerful player, a lot of swing speed.
What do you think? The pin today on the 10th hole, which is 14 in from the front and 5 from the right, would you call that a pretty approachable flag for this hole?
Yes, I'd say so, because more difficult pin position somewhere on the left-hand side. Look at that raw power. A lot of speed. Let's see where that ball has ended up. I'm seeing like almost all the players are going with a driver here. Once you're in the business end of things, there's no point holding yourself back, as it appears to be.
We have a lot of interesting flag locations going into that back nine. We've got the 11th hole at 22 in and 3 from the right. That's quite an interesting pin position on that par 3, isn't it, Shaurya?
Yeah, that's a narrow green as well.
Yes, it's like a thin little green, doesn't have too much depth on it, moves a little bit from the left to the right.
Yes.
And it's got that little creek going on the right side. So it's quite a naughty flag, I must say, by Mr. Chari.
Absolutely. Mr. Chari does intend to make things spicy. His pin positions are always very well thought of, and you'll find a good mix. You'll find a few which are approachable, and then obviously a fair mix of difficult ones as well. Just going back to day two and looking at the cut line, which was at 5 par. You saw quite a few regular names, unfortunately, missing the cut. Divyanshu Bajaj missing the cut. Federico Zucchetti, the Italian, missing the cut. K. Prabhakaran. Kochiro Sato from America, missing the cut. Chika Rangappa, Rashid Khan. That's surprising. So it just shows you that the golf course is quite difficult in bearing its fangs, so as to speak. That is going to be
a good lineup.
One coming back. So as I was stating earlier, the players are finding it rather difficult to ascertain how the greens are playing. The greens are a little mysterious this week, and much to the players' chagrin, it's making them think and probably try a little too hard, as we saw on that occasion.
Just about under 7 on the stimp meter, so not too fast a green, but I think that just makes it more difficult for a player to judge the speeds, right? And this one being a 2-tier green, someone's trying to hit that one up really hard coming from a long range distance, could totally end up getting it wrong.
Yeah, that's what I hear has happened because of the speed of the greens being considerably slow this week and the monsoon weather. So players have had to alter their strokes, but of course, professional golfers are paid to do that. And as you know, there are always players who get it right, and then the others, I would unfortunately have to say, have a few excuses which are valid. But you're a professional golfer, so you can adapt. You can add some lead weight on your putter so that you have a heavier hit. Now we have a look at Gaurav Pratap Singh, multiple winner on tour. And, on the other end of the spectrum, leaving it short. So of course, it's something which is confounding all these players.
Currently 2 over par for the day with a bogey on 5th and 7th and a double bogey on the 9th. Trying to make a comeback there with birdies on 10th and 11th. Gaurav Pratap Singh would still have about 5 feet remaining for that par on the 12th. pin perched up today 4 yards from the left edge of the green, making it a pretty tough up and down coming in from the fairway. Most of the players would be able to get this ball within 100 yards to the green for their approach shots. But in case you do not hit that approach shot well, you're going to be putting from the first tier of this green.
And that's another miscue in terms of speed control. And I think it's legitimate. It's a legitimate cause by the players. So the greens have made it difficult for them in terms of speed control. So it's going to make it a lot more interesting. So whoever will win this tournament would have definitely earned it.
Notable mention for Rakshit Dhaya, who is the amateur in the field, currently at 1 under par for the tournament, playing to a pretty solid 72 on the first day, even par, and a 1 under par on the second day. Currently going on even par for the day on the third. As we take a look back at Udayan Mane, trying to save par here on the 12th.
Now, these are difficult putts when you sort of run the first one, go to about 15, 18 feet past. It's very difficult to make it. Maybe about 6 feet would have been the range.
Absolutely, nearly got a sand wedge in his hand with that putt.
Let's see if he can make this putt. Now he's an Olympian, does have the pedigree. That was aggressive, and that was right in the center of the hole. So, Mr. Olympian, you definitely know your trade. What a brilliant putt.
Absolutely. What a super par there for Udayan Mane to stay at 3 under par for the tournament and the day. Moved up 6 positions on that leaderboard today. Just under Shaurya Bhattacharya, who has dropped 3 shots today on the day and dropped to 4 under par. While the rest of the players seem to be catching heat to move up. We have players like Mohammad Azhar, who is currently at 1 over par, who is on our screens right now.
He would have enjoyed that putt, huh?
Absolutely. It's always nice to come back with a strong putt like that.
Good putt by Chandrajit Yadav as well. Gaurav Pratap now. A little bit of work, maybe about 5 feet, breaking a little from his right. Gaurav Pratap Singh is based out of Noida Golf Course. 2 victories, if I'm not wrong, and separated by almost the longest gap in between, right, Rahul?
Yes, absolutely.
Was it 15 years, I think? I'm not certain, but good putt there. Rather, I think 15 or 16 years between his 2 victories. Gaurav Pratap Singh. Tenacious character. Very positive. Has a can-do attitude. And a very colorful sense of humor, I must add.
It's always, there's nothing that Gaurav Pratap Singh can't do. And especially when you get him around the greens, he surely can pull off any kind of shot that you can think of.
Yeah, got wizardly hands. A little bit about this event. It's the 12th event of PGTI 2025 season. And carry the prize fund of 1 CR. The previous PGTI event held at Kensville Golf and Country Club in March this year was won by Sri Lanka's N. Thanga Raja with a score of 8 under par 280. Coal India Limited, the world's largest coal producer and one of India's leading public sector enterprises, comes on We have some brilliant names here this week. Manu Gandas, Udayan Mane, Om Prakash Chauhan, Yuvraj Sandhu. Yuvraj Sandhu is the current 2025 PGTI Order of Merit leader this year with 54,67,000, and there's a lot of money to be played for as well, especially now with back-to-back events. And if he can get on a roll, he can be like a juggernaut. Would be very difficult to stop him indeed.
It's interesting to see now, Shaurya, that how players can really go upwards of 1 crore in earnings through the year on the PGT of India, isn't it? As we take a look at Kalin Joshi.
And we take a look at ourselves as well from the two of us. It's good morning and hi and hello to you. I hope you're enjoying the action. And as you have a look at Cam 1, and that is tracking. It's much better speed control from the similar position to which we saw the youngster there. So
Colin Joshi trying to move himself to 3 under par for the tournament as Amardeep Malik still leads the way. Angad Chima, another good friend of Malik's, is trailing him by 3 shots.
yeah, and Yuvraj Sandhu at 6 under par as well. What's your take about how this week will progress, Rahul? We've seen that 11 under par rather is leading at this point in time, and I, for one, feel that it will be difficult for Amardeep Malik, not impossible, to shoot another big under par round. So the tournament will definitely be 1 under 14 or maybe about 13 to 14 under par, or maybe even below that. Do you see this? Do you see my prediction as something which is accurate, or?
I think that would be pretty accurate. Somewhere between 14 to 16 under par is somewhere I would think this tournament is going to go up till. You're right. Going into the final round, the rounds aren't going to be as deep as they were on the first few days, unless and until someone from behind starts to fire up something really, really strong. That's just a trend that we're talking about. But at the end of the day, this is golf, and anything can really happen out there. And looking at the conditions on the course, greens aren't very fast. They are holding up. The fairways are also not rolling very much. Even though the course is playing long, it does give the players a chance to attack flags when the greens are playing soft.
Yeah, no doubt. I think this is a perfect setting for the inaugural Coal India Open 2025. It's a difficult, trying setup and very fair indeed. It sort of favors the good ball striker. You need to have ball control. A lot of the holes demand left-right fade, and there is OB which sort of envelops some of these holes. So it's a very interesting setup. I'll tell you that much. Risk and reward and fairness as well.
We can surely say that this course is slightly biased towards the guy who is more comfortable with missing it towards the right side. After all, there are 15 holes with OB lines on the left side, making the right side fairway pretty much in play. That actually can act as a big advantage because you literally have 2 fairway sizes to play along with. Because in the middle there is rough, so most of the skilled players, as these professionals are, they can totally stop it on the green from that rough as well. As we take a look at Yuvraj Singh Sandhu trying to clean up, and good example there, Yuvraj not taking and wasting too much of time there with some pre-shot routine, and marking the golf ball, just going in and tapping that 3-footer in, keeping it simple.
I knew that you were going to get to it, Rahul. You couldn't quite keep yourself from it.
I couldn't resist myself. After all, it's you were sitting right next to me, and the moment we started, you started talking about jogging rather than sprinting, and I just knew where I was.
Absolutely, a case of deja vu for you, my friend. But I was talking about the way that Yuvraj had that glove tucked in between the belt and the trouser. Very unique. I see that the players of today have different styles altogether. We were very conventional. The glove goes in the back pocket, but see different iterations of that.
With the fingers hanging out, just like Colin Joshi.
Yeah, very conventional in that aspect. Now let's see if he's able to clean this up.
Is there some sort of theory or some sort of a science behind why the fingers are hanging out? Like, could someone just elaborate on this, please?
Yeah, let me just make something up. Just try. I think something to do with the atmospheric pressure on the golf course. You want to ensure that it's just about right, so that the glove has the perfect texture. Because as the pressure heats up, you want the glove to sort of give you that warm embrace and get ready for the back nine.
It's a brilliant aerial view there of the Kensville Golf and Country Club in Ahmedabad. Very stunning, isn't it?
Absolutely, a sight for sore eyes.
And that's what I was talking about. If you can tell there, that's the first hole fairway that we see in the center of the screen, and on the right side you see the 18th hole. So it literally gives the players 2 fairways to play for. But that also kind of makes it a little tough for the guys who are not hitting it very well, because they can aim it right in the middle of the fairway and then hope that they're going to hit it on one side, but it really doesn't happen that way. Rory McIlroy, who will be here in India to play at the Delhi Golf Club from the 16th of October. Big news for Indian golf and all the kids who must be watching, all the junior golfers. This is a superb time for all of you to be able to go out and see one of the best players in the world, Angad Chima.
And one of the best players right now, Angad Chima. Probably the first time I'm seeing him in shorts. Obviously, that's a change that's happened in the rules of golf.
Yes, in fact, on the PGTI now, the players are allowed to play in shorts, and so are they on most of the professional tours across the world. And I think that's a pretty welcome change.
Yeah, I would think so.
Making the sport a little more light and easy.
Let's see how this drive goes for Angat. Would it be light and easy?
Angad is a big thumper of the ball. He can hit it a mile. Take a look at Shaurya Bhattacharya. He's also pulling off some short action.
Yeah, really nice swing there as well. Shorts definitely seem to be in the majority, and that makes sense. Monsoon season gets a little oppressive in the afternoon.
Shaurya picked up one shot at the sixth hole now and is 3 over par for the day. 4 under for the tournament. Still 3 over par for the day, so he's got a lot of work to do there as he moves into this back nine. And Amardeep Malik has dropped another shot and dropped off to 10 under par, closing in the gap between him and Chima.
Very surprising that he would drop a shot on the par 5. I would think that that would be a place that you pick up a shot or at least not drop one.
There we have Amardeep Malik, the leader.
He needs to steady the ship. 2 shots dropped on 8 and 9. Now you see that lead withering away and only a couple of shots. So everybody's getting closer to the mean.
A surprising bogey here on the ninth hole. It's a par 5 and pretty much a hole which Amar can reach into. Sweet.
Not quite certain if he would be hitting a driver off the tee though.
Well, I think there's plenty room there for a player to be able to hit their driver. They can go, especially if they can hit it far, they can just go straight down across the fairway, and they've got plenty room over there for the ball to stop.
Amardeep Malik with that customary pause.
He just started off this pause about a year ago, hasn't he? Looking halfway like Hideki Matsuyama.
And working out well. He's belting it right there with the youngster. So showing you that power is something that he still has.
Talking about youngsters, I'd like to welcome in the commentary box this morning Mr. Krishnaswamy. Krishnaswamy is a prolific golf journalist, a man who is known to everyone around the sport. Mr. Swamy, welcome to the commentary box.
Thank you, Rahul. Thank you, Shaurya. He talks about youngsters and then he introduces me into the commentary box. I think what can be more ironical than that? But I must say that having seen PGTI almost from its start, when it was formed into the player's body, and now growing into such a huge tour, probably one of the most well-organized and one of the most serious tours in Asia. I think this is the PGTI has actually grown by leaps and bounds. Just a while ago, both Shaurya and Rahul were mentioning how, this is the 12th tournament and there's so much of money to play for. And there was Yuvraj Sandhu on the putting surface when he hold that 3-footer. Now that's the man who's got huge things ahead of him, looking forward to topping the order of merit so that he can go on to the European Tour next year, which is the DP World Tour. And that would indeed be a massive leap for him in terms of his career. In the past, we've seen Manu Gandas, Om Prakash Chauhan, Manu Gandas, and Veera Lawat this year going on to the tour by topping the order of merit, and it could be Yuvraj Sandhu's turn next. Remember, he had a very good chance before Manu Gandas pipped him right at the end a couple of seasons back. And that's Angat Chima, one of the most consistent players. And of course, he's also in the running for the Order of Merit. Remember, there's a lot of prize money to be played for, and a couple of good wins or, kind of big wins and some finishes, nice finishes like Manu Gandas did a few years ago could actually change the Order of Merit, which is currently being led by Yuvraj Sandhu.
Interestingly, the tour here, Swami, from the Coal India Open at Kensville Golf and Country Club, Ahmedabad, moves to Mysore. And the players play there for another prize purse of ₹1 crore, and then to Clover Greens in Tamil Nadu, which is just on the outskirts of Bengaluru. And then the players move on to playing at Zion Hills at Kolar, and that's Shaurya Bhattacharya, just all of 22 years of age, turned pro just a year ago, and already with 2 wins under his belt. We've got the players thereafter in September charge off to Chennai for the TNGF Cosmo Golf Course. They're to play the Chennai Open 2025 and then the Golconda Masters 2025 at Hyderabad Golf Association, followed by the Coimbatore Open um, in the last week of September, moving into October. So a very interesting back nine for the PGTI coming up. A busy season for the players, isn't it? And Swami, looking at as you were talking about how the you've been seeing the PGTI and following it, of course, for since the inception of it. What do you think about this power-packed calendar with so many new golf courses being thrown in for the players to be playing it? As we take a quick look at Angad Chima, who is at 8 under par, trying to catch the leader, who is at 10.
Rahul, one of the good things about the Indian Tour has been the way it has actually not only enhanced the prize purses across the season, they've taken a good part in between, when it's very, really hot. They take time off and then come back with a very powerful closing finish, like a powerful second half. We've got week after week. And then, of course, as you and Shaurya were mentioning, that fantastic tournament, $4 million on offer at the DP World India Championship, for which Rory McIlroy has confirmed. And this morning I saw that Tommy Fleetwood is also going to come to India for the first time since 2016. So indeed, two of the best players from the European Tour, both of whom actually play on the PGA, also will be here. And this is man who is ageless, Amardeep Malik at 40, still contending here. I mean, of course, he has to open the door for others to get in there, and which I think he seems to have done by dropping a couple of shots. But nevertheless, this is the moving day when the ones chasing the leader have a chance of coming closer, and it is for the leader. Well, that was a fantastic one. I mean, nice wet shot there. He's pitched it beautifully out there.
He's pretty much velcroed that onto the green, hasn't he?
Exactly. It seems like that. But Rahul, you played a lot of pro golf, amateur golf, and then pro golf, having represented India at the Asian Games, and I'm sure you've got that precious medal too, showcased in your cabinet there. I mean, how important is the pathway for players, as they progress from amateurs to professionals, and then on to bigger international tours?
It's extremely important. Shaurya Bhattacharya coming up short of that flag over there is to quickly get our viewers to understand what's happening out there on the course. Yes, absolutely. The biggest change, I think, for a player does come in when they decide to become professional, and coming from the amateur tour to the professional tour, one of the biggest differences is the density of the field and the deepness of the scores. So the winning scores pretty much would remain the same even on the amateur tour, but what happens is the density of the field totally changes. So you'll find 10 players bunched up at a single score. So if a winner is at 12 under par, you'll find 3 guys at 11 under and then 5 guys at 10 under par. And, that's the biggest difference. The number of players who are out there competing who are very, very good, and each of them can win the tournament, is just humongously larger than the amateur tour. And I think that's the biggest difference. And then, of course, if you want to try and apply your trade across, various golf tours of the world, in that case, that ladder just keeps becoming steeper and steeper, and the field, as you move out, becomes denser and denser.
So which means every shot out there counts. I mean, every shot means, a few thousand rupees, sometimes even lakhs, right at the end of the fourth and final day. So here we are seeing the back nine of the third round, the traditional moving day. This is the day when people have to try and get closer to the leader, chase the leader down, close at their club, and then they make the final charge of the final day of the fourth and final round. And as they say, the tournament usually begins on the back nine of the final day. Of course, they say Sunday, but it's the final day because these days the final day can be on any day of the week, as we often see.
Chima has this long attempt for birdie here. He's going with the putter from off the green, not using his sandwich, which would have been the usual approach for a player. And Chima would come up a little bit short of that hole, even though it was a pretty good attempt. Swami, what do you think?
Excellent. I mean, he didn't want to take any chances, I suppose, when he tried to, chip in from there or something, you could always, make a small with a flat stick. the chances of a mistake are much reduced. So unfortunately, there
The
I said it a
commentators
bit too
curse him
soon.
now.
The commentators curse there. Angad, I'm sorry. Forgive me, please.
Only if Angad could hear us. But that totally, Swami, I must say, there's one thing that a commentator must have, and that is timing.
Um, that really was a tough call for there for Angad. Missing a putt like that on the third day, it's never easy. He just has to shrug it off and not think about it for the remainder of the holes, because once you carry baggage of that sort, it can actually then start affecting the rest of the round, and I'm sure he can't afford that. And he knows it extremely well. He knows it very well. He's been around the block for a very long time. So, and he's had a pretty consistent season this year, Angad. So that would be a costly miss for him.
Shaurya Bhattacharya putting for birdie here on the 10th. Has he hit it enough? And he hasn't.
I just get the feeling that the players are still not, kind of, come to terms with the greens. I mean, they're slower than what they expected. What is the stim meter reading, Rahul? I thought I heard you mention that 7 or 8 or something like that.
The stimp meter reading is just under 7. So
Okay.
the greens are playing fairly slow. So that also gives the players that extra opportunity to be able to hit those putts a little firmer than they would usually do on the penultimate and the final days.
One interesting thing I'm sure the viewers must have noticed, there is a lot of information right there on the scroll down below the screen, which gives you what what Coal India is bringing to the table for the PGTI Tour. For the first time, they're staging an event, and very interestingly, Kensville Golf and Country Club, which had an event in March this year, is having its second event of the season. The first one was won by Thangaraja. And if you recall, Rahul, many, many years ago, Kensville made its debut on the international circuit by hosting the European Challenge Tour back in 2012, I think. And one of the players playing in that tournament was Shubhankar Sharma. He made his debut there, and making his first ever appearance, or rather the only appearance ever in India, was Brooks Kupka, who played alongside Shubhankar in that same tournament. Both of them made the cut and, of course, finished in the 50s somewhere, but it was a great start. Unfortunately, Schumacher didn't quite make it into the league of major winners, even though he consistently has kept his card on the European Tour, the DP World Tour as it's called, and Brooks Koepka has gone on to win a bunch of majors.
Well, for one, I think Shubhankar still has a lot of golf inside him, and the opportunity for him to win majors still really does exist over there. And if I may, I was also in that same field.
Oh my God,
playing the
what a
same
miss!
tournament.
What a miss for me.
So you take a look now at Shaurya teeing off on the 11th hole, the par 3. A very interesting par 3, this 11th hole. It's all off about 120 yards, but the pin, place where it's perched up today, just on that right corner, 3 yards in from the right side, is quite a tough one for the players to attack. And if anyone can attack this, the ball has to be dropping from the left to the right. Otherwise, it's a tough attack position.
But there you are. We just saw that Shiv Kapoor had set the record for the lowest winning total in 2013, and this golf course is 40 kilometers from Ahmedabad and surrounded by places of historical and cultural interest. Rahul, you must at some time also tell us, about your experience of that tournament when you first played in it at the Kensville. So now we are changing over. Shaurya comes in for Rahul. Rahul gets a well-deserved rest for a bit. Or is he continuing? He is continuing for a bit more. And he's going to regale us with some of the stories of that famous Kensville Challenge, where he played alongside the likes of Brooks Koepka and Shubhankar Sharma. And of course, indeed, it must have been quite an experience, Rahul.
Interestingly, it's a lot of people do not know about Brooks Koepka, but he actually played around on the European Challenge Tour for a good 2 or 3 years before he went on to playing the PGA Tour. And lots of the juniors who might not even know, the Challenge Tour is such a tour where most of the players are just lugging their own bags and playing, and that's what Brooks Koepka did. So before we knew him as a major champion and a legend, He was just another player on the Challenge Tour, and that's the interesting part about golf, that it has to strike on those 4 days, and then the sky is the limit. Just like we are seeing Amardeep Malik trying to strike it on all the 4 days.
Interestingly, one of the members of the PGTI tour right now has been a regular this season on the Challenge Tour, and that's been Saptak Talwar. Of course, he's been consistently making the cut.
World's largest coal producing company, Coal India, powers the nation's foundation of success, meeting around 80% of India's coal demand and energizing nearly 70% of thermal power generation. 24/7 sustainable operations spread across 8 states, ensuring India keeps moving forward, diversifying for a greener future. Engaging with local communities through diversified activities and fulfilling 1,000,000,000 dreams. For 5 decades, we've been the economic cornerstone of India, unearthing energy and fueling growth. As we proudly launch our new Golden Jubilee logo to celebrate a journey that continues. Coal India, 5 decades of unearthing energy, powering lives.
पढ़ता है, खेलता है, झूलता उछलता है, दौड़ता कभी कभी दौड़ कराता है, आगे आगे बढ़ता है इंडिया, अमूल दूध पीता है इंडिया, पढ़ता है, खेल
Another 25 holes to play over the next 2 days. I think 5 shots away is still in striking distance. Amardeep Malik making a birdie on that 10th hole and going up to 11 under par, increasing that gap by a shot. And Karandeep Kochar also seems to be doing some movers and shakers there, moving up to 7 under par to tie alongside Chima, who seems to have dropped a shot. Having said this, we've got Arjun Prasad on our screen. Arjun Prasad currently on hole number 13. Interestingly, as you were mentioning about Saptak and having played outside, you also have a lot of experience of interacting with players like the legends of Indian golf, G. Milkha Singh, the Jyoti Randhawas, and who's who of the sport in the country. And one of the things that I've admired always about all these players is that they've never shied away from putting themselves out there, no matter what the stage is, and no matter what stage of their careers they might be at. And I think that's what has really made them stand out than the rest of us, I guess.
Well, I mean, how ironical that you should talk about the 3 legends of Indian golf. I just met them barely 10 days ago. All 3 of them were actually playing at the Senior Open and at Sunningdale, which is also the home course for G. Wilker Singh. And what a fantastic achievement it was that all three of them actually made the cut, and they played all 4 rounds. It was an awesome experience. Met them after a long time. Got a few pictures there with all three of them together. We also had lunch together. It was awesome. And the beauty is that they're past 50 and they still talk about, going for, practice, hitting the balls in the range, coming back with putting and chipping. I mean, they are willing to kind of, work as hard as possible. Jeev had his son there with him, showing him the ropes, and Jyoti had his son Zorawar there, who also carried for him. And of course, Arjun Twal was there with his brother Govind and a few friends. So it was like a huge reunion of sorts for them. And all of them were talking about their good old PGTI days and the other tours that they've been playing on together, both the Asian and the European tour. And of course, Arjun being the only Indian ever to have won on the PGA tour, which was way back in 2010. 15 years since then, and unfortunately, no other Indian has joined him in that club.
Unfortunately, there was not half the effort that we would have liked from Jamal Hussain Mola, who misses that par putt on the 12th hole. Unfortunate miss there for Jamal. My apologies, that be the 13th hole. Unfortunate miss by him. He probably pushed that out by about half a foot, if I'm not wrong.
As I said, the as you were mentioning a little while ago, the you know the speed is what is still catching the players off guard. They're finding it a bit slow than what they are used to, even on the Indian tour. And I think they will have to come to terms with it. Tomorrow being the final day, they've got approximately 24 to 27 holes there. Oh well, actually, less than a round and a half, because all of them are on the back nine now. Like here it is, the 14th.
Another player here who's on our screens right now worth mentioning is Om Prakash Chauhan, who's playing alongside Abhinav Lohan and Ravi Kumar. Om Prakash himself, after finishing number one on the order of merit, has gone out and put himself out there on the European Challenge Tour, and he's really tried to make it work. But it's been really tough for him to be able to sort of up the game and compete at that level. And of course, there are some of the things which do not match with the Indian conditions, like the wind and the type of golf courses that one plays, and it takes that amount of time to settle down. But I think it's really worth complimenting, and it's it's worth complimenting how Om Prakash Chauhan has really put himself out there, tried to improve his game, and sort of catch up with those conditions, just like so did another player, SSP Chaurasia, in the past.
Oh yes, talking about these players in particular, the three of them, Manu, Om Prakash Chauhan, and now currently Veer Lawat, who's on the DP World Tour. I've had an opportunity to see them in action in Europe, all three of them, at various points. And the common feature among them, they're all very gutsy, and as you said, they are willing to put themselves out there in the glare, and they're willing to take their chances. They're willing to kind of go out and fight it out, and all of them are doing a fantastic job. So, Om Prakash Chauhan, after not being able to keep his card there, was determined to come back to the PGTI and then fight his way. He said, I want to get back there to Europe once more, because now I know what the courses are. Now I know what to expect out there. And I think that's the kind of grit and determination we need to see in all of them. These three or four boys who've gone there have shown that they have it. And I'm really hoping that Yuvraj Sandhu this year can also get there and give himself a chance out there. Of course, and if Veer Alawat can retain his card, and Shubhankar's having a bit of a struggle this season. If we have 2 or 3 players on the DP World Tour, that would also generate a lot of interest and motivate the other players on the PGTI Tour, which, as we've been talking time and again, has grown by leaps and bounds, not just in terms of the prize money on offer, but also in terms of the sheer quality of golf that we get to see these days.
Absolutely. I think that the tour here and the players here are no less than any of the international players that we see on the other tours. And the golf courses, of course, have also been getting better and better, as you can tell on the screens. The lush fairways here at the Kensville Golf Club. And we see Angachima on the tee there. Striking it. A very high ball is what Angad always hits, putting it on the right side of the fairway. Ball rolls back and comes into the first cut of the right side. Very approachable hole, this one. If it plays hard, in fact, some of the players can even reach the green with their drives. But in these conditions, players would preferably lay up and give themselves a chance with a wedge in hand. As we take another look at the aerial view of the scintillating Kensville Golf and Country Club.
So Amardeep Malik, after having given shots away on the 8th and 9th, caught himself back with a birdie on the 10th. So he keeps his lead up there, 11 under. Of course, Karandeep Kocher has made some great, excellent move. He is 3 under for the day, and he's come up to 8 under as he is in the second place with Angad Chima, the consistent Angad Chima, parred the entire front 9 and then dropped a shot on the 10th. He is at 7 under, very much still in the race. Remember, a shot here or there can actually mean a 2-shot swing, and that would actually, kind of make a huge difference.
Absolutely. It's interesting here on the penultimate day at the Coal India Open 2025 being played at the Kensville Golf and Country Club. Currently, the tournament is being led by Mr. Amardeep Malik, who, after having dropped a few shots on hole number 8 and 9, has clawed his way back with a good birdie on hole number 10. He's at 11 under par, being followed by Karandeep Kocher at 8 under par, Angad Chima, Yuvraj Sandhu, Arjun Prasad, and a total of 12 players currently at under par and more. You can see that this the wind is fluttering here. Those are the flags of sponsors and the associates. They do so much for the game of golf. And Professional Golf Tour of India, biggest domestic tours in the world, and also has world ranking points, a lot of international presence and flavor. And you're looking at the second half of the season, and in view, Shaurya Bhattacharya, Angad Chima. This is the 12th tournament of this calendar year, and we're looking at a jam-packed schedule going ahead. The tournaments are coming at you thick and fast. Coal India Open, Mysuru Open, PGTI Clover Greens, Kolar Open powered by Zion Hills, Chennai Open, Golconda Masters, Coimbatore Open, and so much more to come.
Sure, you're just mentioning about Amardeep having dropped a couple of shots and then clawed his way back. What kind of confidence does that birdie bring back, after a couple of setbacks for a player? Can you just an insight into how much of a boost would a player get, and especially when he's leading, he sees the lead dwindle and then he catches back ever so slightly.
Well, that's a shot in the arm, I'll tell you that much. You drop a few shots, you feel that the game is not quite going the way that you want to. 1 bogey is understandable, but 2 on the trot when you're leading, especially on a par 5, and to right it with a birdie, that's the perfect panacea, so as to speak. As you look at the 12th hole, definitely a birdie hole for these players, and he's put it in perfect position as Amardeep, 10 feet right at the flagstick. This is a unique hole, hole number 12. It's a risk and reward hole with some of the players laying up. I reckon Amardeep Malik would have gone with a conservative approach, and the longer hitters can, the players who can carry the driver more than 310 do go with the driver here as well.
Talking about long hitters, there's Angad Chima on view now.
I suspect he's laid up as well, and a decent shot by him. This hole has a hazard which is about 290 yards to carry, and OB lining the entire left side of the fairway. I must say it's a really nice golf course. Great fun, great leveler also as well. A championship golf course in every right.
There on the scroll right towards the bottom end of the screen, we saw that this very course had the European Challenge events for 3 years in a row, 11, 12, and 13. And we saw a couple of wins by Indian players, Gaganjeet Bhullar and Shiv Kapoor. And interestingly, the course there here in Kensville had a great picture and a small kind of representation of G. Milkha Singh's palm there when it was first opened in 2011. And one of those 3 years, one of the VIP visitors to the golf course was none other than Sachin Tendulkar, who came to meet Samir Sinha, who was the boss of the course, the man who actually has brought this golf course to this level. And Samir is, of course, a very big patron of golf and supports the game. And the golf course here is a tribute to him because of the amount of interest that he takes in it. And Samir was there to welcome Sachin, and of course all the players, including Shiv Kapoor, were there with Sachin trying to give him tips. So much so now Sachin confesses that he enjoys a round of golf or two.
Yeah, golf. You're seeing golf is gaining popularity amongst sportsmen who've played other sport, and that's good. It's a very global game, and a game that is preferred. A lot of ex-cricketers, footballers, even rugby stars, and so on and so forth. In America, you have their American football players playing golf, so it's very good for the growth
That's
of the
the
game.
go-to sport for all the other sportsmen.
Yeah, it of course is, and as we talk about the popularity of the game, let's also look at some of the scores out on the golf course. Udyan Mane is at 4 under par. Coming along pretty well is Udyan. Shaurya Bhattacharya somehow steadying the ship. Started with a rather unfortunate triple bogey on hole number 3, a bogey on 4, but then made a birdie, and then from there on in has been all pars. So very good player, a winner on tour, youngster, but has a lot of game. I can tell you that much, and that is something that that's a blanket statement that you can say about majority of the players who are playing on the professional golf tour of India. They are really good. There's a lot of fresh crop of talent every year, and the older players as well, really fighting to earn their keep, so as to speak. Third day here, and we've seen an eagle by Umed Kumar on hole number 14, the par 5. We've also seen an eagle by N. Thangaraj on hole number 6. So 2 eagles thus far. As we have a look at Angad here. Angad based out of Chandigarh. Has been a professional for, I would think, close to about 16 odd years. And that ball has disappeared out of view. And right in the hole. You see him, seems to be exalting. Not quite certain if that is sarcastic. Maybe that's the part of finally agreeing to his will.
So had you in a bit of a mind there.
Hole number 12. We saw that shot by Amardeep Malik. It's a good angle coming in, about 12 feet. Should break from his right to left. Really holds that putter very gingerly, does Amardeep. The pencil grip. He's a player that has consistently worked to change and improve his technique. The various facets of the game, even ball striking, he's constantly working and tweaking his technique, trying to find something that works better.
While Rahul Bajaj was taking a break with a coffee, stats are such wonderful things to go back to. And I went back to the 2013 Gujarat Kensville Challenge, and I saw his name in the start list there. Unfortunately, he missed the cut. But another player who actually was in the field and he made the cut was Om Prakash Chauhan. I mean, that shows you the longevity of this young man, Om Prakash Chauhan. He was there that time, as was Shubhankar and Brooks Koepka, and Shiv Kapoor won that tournament. So fantastic, I will say. Next time Rahul is on the mic, we're going to get him to say a few things about Om Prakash and Brooks Koepka and Shubhankar of that era.
Shaurya coming up short there. That is the challenge that this week poses. The greens. Amardeep Malik, who we saw miss his birdie putt, now has this short little putt for par. Oh no, that was not expected in the least. Now that will really get to him. I'll tell you that much, because he did really well, made a birdie, made a brilliant shot on this hole, and just an underwhelming putt, and that is rather unfortunate. And maybe that's just rubber the green this week. Pretty similar putt for Shaurya as well now. Cleans that up. That definitely he'll be doing that. That is one that got away from Amardeep Malik.
That's it. This is a moving day, and sometimes when the leader moves backwards, it opens the door for the others, gives the others a chance to have a look at what's ahead. And
World's largest coal producing company, Coal India, powers the nation's foundation of success, meeting around 80% of India's coal demand and energizing nearly 70% of thermal power generation. 24/7 sustainable operations spread across 8 states, ensuring India keeps moving forward, diversifying for a greener future. Engaging with local communities through diversified activities and fulfilling 1 billion dreams. For 5 decades, we've been the economic cornerstone of India, unearthing energy and fueling growth. As we proudly launch our new Golden Jubilee logo to celebrate a journey that continues. Coal India, 5 decades of unearthing energy, powering lives.
What a great shot! But he looks tired. And that's a drinks break.
But what's the plus sign for? अमृतांजन इलेक्ट्रो प्लस। जब लगे थकान वाली प्यास, जरूरी है सेल लेवल हाइड्रेशन। इसके इलेक्ट्रोलाइट्स आपके सेल्स को रिहाइड्रेट करें, एनर्जी लौटाएं, थकान वाली प्यास मिटाएं।
जब आपको भी लगे थकान वाली प्यास, अमृतांजन इलेक्ट्रो प्लस, थकान वाली प्यास के लिए।
Back to the action, we saw there that description about Coal India Limited, and I'd like to talk a little bit more about that. Coal has been the backbone of India's energy journey for decades, a reliable, abundant, and affordable resource that continues to power the nation's growth. Today, India is the second largest coal producer in the world, having recorded an impressive 1,047 million tons, of production in 24-25. At the heart of this achievement is Coal India Limited, the world's largest coal producing company. So it's 7 coal producing subsidiaries and one mine planning consultancy arm. CIL produced 781 metric tons of coal last fiscal, contributing nearly 74% of the country's total output. As India moves forward with ambitious plans to expand its power infrastructure, coal will continue to play a key role in meeting that demand. And as a proud Maharatna public sector enterprise, Coal India Limited is not just committed to powering the nation, but doing so responsibly, sustainably, and with a deep sense of duty to the communities it serves.
And Shaurya, let me just add a very small thing. It's one of the best PSUs, I must confess. And for people who invested in it, there's a lot of dividend coming in each year. It's a fantastic company, which means it's got great results, great production, etc. And now the dividends are also paying for the golfers.
I thought you were talking about dividends on the stock market as well.
That's right. Both of them go hand in hand. There was dividend for the stock market, and it's a pretty good dividend-paying company, one of the best, I must say, in the country. And now, as I said, the dividends are there for the golfers to enjoy too, with this 1 crore event for the first time coming in from Coal India. So I would say happy news all around.
Yeah, the golfers are indeed very happy for this association. Coal India is the backbone of the country in energy production, and being associated with golf is really good for this growing sport in our country. The leaderboard now looks pretty similar. Amardeep Malik still leads by 2 shots. Karandeep Kocha Chima at second position.
And
International.
time for a small change. Rahul Bajaj comes in.
A case of musical chairs here. We need to extract the expertise from our co-commentators. And talk about expertise, there is that in abundance with Rahul Bajaj.
Well, there's no more expertise that anyone in this commentary box can have than Mr. Swami himself. Man of color. He's got so much of experience backing him with. There's no international tournament that I've been for where I've not seen Swami around. I mean, it's but it's great, right? So 2 years back, I was there at the Asian Amateur, and Ravi Kumar rolling that one in for par. I was at the Asian Amateur, and suddenly I see Swami trotting along, and I was like, "Oh my God!" He said, "What are you doing over here?" So I was there with one of my students who also happens to be playing on this in this field this week, and it's always lovely to sort of catch up with all of them because even when I was playing back in the day, I remember Swami calling me up when I was playing the Asian Development Tour back in 2016. Swami called me up and he said, "You must inform me on how things are going because we don't come to know about every tour that goes on. So it'd be nice for us to know as to what's happening on the other tours as well than the ones that we always keep an eye on." So he's a figure that you will always see around Indian golf, and he's the one who keeps all the news going.
Absolutely, he's the proverbial golf thesaurus. Ask it any question and it'll give you the answer, and the same for Mr. Swami.
Sorry, I must interject at this point, even though I'm not live on air right now. Is that I saw Rahul when he was playing at the Asian Games in 2010 in China, in Guangzhou, alongside Rashid Khan, Abhinav Lohan, and I think Abhijit Chadda, if I'm not wrong. So the foursome, they won a silver medal, and that was one of my first sightings of Rahul Bajaj. Of course, I'd seen him at home on some amateur events. We didn't know each other, and the Asian Games was really the first big time, and now, of course, he is lending his expertise in terms of coaching.
Here we are now going head to head in the commentary box. Is it, Swami? I'm hoping I can learn a thing or two about all the experiences that you've had alongside all the great players that you've been able to witness through the years.
Wonderful slow motion shots showing you the unique techniques that are being employed by a whole host of players.
Sure, I'd always, it's a question that's been on my mind now over the last couple of days, or maybe even months for that matter. That there are techniques like the aim point that a lot of players use, and you and I have spoken about it in the past. While a tournament on the PGTI is on live show, how does a player really use a technique like aim point? We're given the timing of 30 seconds today and how fast the game is really becoming. And there's another question I have also on this end. And it's not a jibe at your so slow play, but now it is.
As we have a look at, I'll just answer that as we have a look at Amardeep on what is probably my most favorite hole on this golf course. A very scenic hole number 13, especially if the flag is tucked on the left hand side. It makes life really difficult.
Talk about changing topics.
So talking about the time, I think 30 seconds is indeed goes by in the blink of an eye, and something as elaborate as aim point, where the players are actually gauging the slope, and then they're using their methodology with one finger, two finger width, and so it does take time. What I've seen is that they do their work when other people are putting. But if you have the misfortune of being first to putt, then you have to ensure that the caddy can somehow aid in that process, or you speed it up. That's what I've seen, because it is a technique that does require considerable amount of preparation and time.
So I mean, at the end of the day, all of these things actually do provide a sort of a method to the madness of it all. They provide a method for you to be able to assess a line well. At the same time, it is a time-consuming process. No matter how quick you really become with it, I think what your eyes can do from they can in fact start seeing the line from 50 yards away from the green, for that matter, opposed to like a technique, so as to speak, has to be used, which can only be done when you stand certain amount of a distance or certain number of yards or certain number of feet behind the ball. Otherwise you can't see the same.
I think you've hit the nail on the head. But as the stakes keep getting higher, I think the players want to eliminate any sort of and leave anything to chance. And what I've seen is perfection actually is a double-edged sword. So they try to exact the line that they have, and in that point they sort of lose the actual feel that they have. So they've become very process oriented, and somewhere the art of the game has taken a backseat because at the end of the day, there's no perfect line. It's a technology or a method that you're using to gauge that, and obviously the players want to get everything right because the margins are so thin.
Would you say that given the new time limit of 30 seconds, only the first player gets time of 40 seconds to hit the ball? Doesn't that make the game a lot more dynamic, and hence making it a lot more fun to be able to sort of view as well as play, for that matter? It's the reduced time actually. We are coming from an era where we used to take actually a lot more time than today's players are taking. Given the situation, but cutting down that time even more, going into what is golf today, I think it's a welcome change. It just cuts down all that extra thinking time and makes the game a lot more joyous, a lot more dynamic, for that matter.
I think as you have a look at this par 316th, and that's a pretty good shot by Om Prakash Chauhan. Should work out well for him with a fairly makeable, maybe about 13, 14 foot birdie putt. Yes, from a viewer's perspective, I think long rounds can really be excruciating to watch. You want your players to play fast so they can actually keep track. And as a co-player, golf, you can't really gauge the actual time when you're not on the clock. So it's important that etiquette be followed so that everybody can get like an equal shot at it. So I think it's definitely a step in the right direction. Speeding up play is important because you have large fields. As you have a look at Ravi, and you want to ensure that everybody gets. That seems to be quite the miscue, if I'm not wrong. That came out pretty low and almost scooting off the surface. So yes, speeding up play was the need of the hour. Sometimes we run into 6-hour rounds, and that still does happen at certain championship golf courses. You've seen the majors how that happens. So I mean, they can only employ fines, but you've seen players take up to two minutes in major championships sometimes on swings and shots.
Yes, I mean, I think normally situations are fine, but overall, the speeding up of play, I'm not playing competitive golf anymore, but I can only imagine that it would actually reduce all the extra thoughts and actually help a player make decisions a little quicker, make everything a little more dynamic, which would just enable the player to react more rather than think more.
I mean, yeah, that would hold true for majority as we have a look at what appears to be Cullen here at hole number 13. So this is the flag.
Shaurya Bhattacharya, my apologies.
My apologies, yeah. Wearing a similar color shirt and looking similar from afar. So this should break to his left.
From that bottom tier, the putt is pretty slow. And as you can tell, couldn't judge that speed very well. Shaurya would still have about 4.5 feet remaining for a par.
So this is a flag that not many players flirt with. We have the OB, which is about a further 5 to 7 yards left.
Absolutely. I think it also depends on what angle you're coming from the fairway. If you're able to really get a clear shot at this flag or not, and a flag like this, depending on the wind, it probably favors more of a right to left kind of a shot. Not really everyone's comfort level. So completely depends player to player, what yardage, what kind of a direction that you have towards the flag. If we take a look at Amardeep Malik, Amardeep has found himself on the top tier of this green, which basically makes it more of a pin high shot. And mostly, if you notice, pin high shots generally tend to look and are a lot closer and a lot flatter putts, makeable birdie opportunities, if I may.
Yeah, let's see if he can bounce back after that unfortunate bogey on the last hole.
You've seen 2 short putts being missed in this group with Amar having
I
missed
think
that
he's
last one.
I would be remiss to say he's trying to force the issue. It seems he's gone rather firm on that one.
I mean, I think there's nothing to force right now, is there, Shaurya? We are far away from the end of this tournament. I think Amar is doing really well, especially over the first 2 days. In fact, even through the start of this morning. And the end of the tournament is much far away so far.
Yeah, I know, but the ebbs and flows of a round of golf, if sometimes the shot gets taken from you, as it did on the last hole. He hit a good putt, but it horseshoed out.
So you want to from Angad on the 10th hole, where he dropped a shot from just under a foot away, actually.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of that this week. Oh, look at that. And he's got one back, has Angad, and that's going to add a little more pressure. He's at 9 under par now. Amardeep Malik would need to hold that to keep his lead.
So this is where the player has to really stay calm and composed, because the other player is charging up and now only one shot away. So the pressure is mounting up. Although, even though in the thick of things, it's hard to remember, but you've got a long way to go before a tournament winner is decided this week.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain that there's just a passing thought of that. They're so experienced. They know that even if he loses the lead and whatever, if you're playing well, if you're hitting the ball well, if you're putting well in and around the lead, you can still win. Ideally, if somebody is making birdies and taking the lead from you, that is fine. You don't want to give away the lead.
Absolutely. In fact, Amardeep today has been giving away some of the shots, though, on the course. And hopefully this is going to be the end of those woes. He's got about 5 feet away for par.
This length of putt, anything under 6 feet has proven to be very difficult this week.
Well, since he adapted that claw putting grip, which you call the pencil, I think it's one of the same thing.
It's almost like a
he's
pincer
been putting
grip,
really work. His putting has really improved and changed for him. Let's see if he can find this ball to go at the bottom of that cup.
Should break a little from his right. This is an important putt, especially after that miss on the last hole. And he has done well. Good putt, Amardeep.
Solid save there for Amardeep Malik. Probably hammered that one up a bit further than he expected. Hammer also happens to be the name that he likes to go by.
Yeah, that's his moniker. I don't quite know how that came about, but I just know the famous singer MC Hammer. In fact, I heard that song yesterday. I tell you, it's got quite the beat. My son also heard it, and we both are actually singing it now these days. So,
incidentally, I came across a funny video of Aaron Baddeley's son making fun of his routine and his swing, and it just instantly reminded me of your son.
Well, he generally makes fun of a lot of things, but he hasn't had the privilege of seeing my routine yet. I think that will put him to sleep. Maybe I should try that at bedtime.
Shaurya Bhattacharya for par.
That's well done. Right in the center. Very good stroke right there by Shaurya Bhattacharya. The action continues here, right from Ahmedabad. We bring to you the Coal India Open 2025. It's the second half of the Professional Golf Tour of India schedule, and it's kicked off in style here at this beautiful facility. And leading the tournament is Amardeep Malik, being trailed by Angad Chima by a mere 2 shots.
But actually, fond memories of this golf course. There we have Cullen Joshi.
Look at that lag. It's a beautiful slow motion. What do you say about that? That generation of power.
That was stellar.
And look at that.
One lag after the other. We seem to be just lagging behind.
Yeah, look at that. Those are 2 powerful swings.
Let's see how much lag does Karandeep Kocher generate. And it seems like these guys
very different.
Have a WhatsApp group deciding which clothes to wear.
Yeah, pretty similar, but a different swing altogether. Those 2 were a lot more generating power from longer, stronger levers. And that's the thing about golf. It's unique. Look at that. Again, very different sort of swing. That is a powerful swing.
Superb camera vision here.
Look at that late release. Mouth-watering golf swings, I must say. Another. You run out of adjectives here. Poetry in motion.
I'm in awe.
I think they should put mine in there just to spice things up and confuse the viewer. Then we need to do a little bit of that as we get to hole number 16.
Course record at the Kensville is 8 under 64, which was set by Chikkarangappa S in the round 2 of the PGTI Players Championship in 2015. It's a shame he hasn't made it to the weekend this week, and that really goes to show, right, that golf is really, it changes on a daily basis, right? So one day's champion means nothing on the next. That's pretty much the nature of the game.
Yeah, unfortunately, in the world of sports, I mean, not fully true, but you're only as good as your last performance, and it sort of carries through. And you got to earn your keep every day, especially in the game of golf. It is so dynamic, so many different things. You know, someday your ball striking can be a little different, your putting can be a little different. So, I would think from all the games that there are, if you just case in point, you look at a game like tennis. You still have to beat your opponent. You can be on your B game, C game, and just strategize for that particular opponent. But golf is so much more different. A local challenge being led by Warren Parekh, Anshul Patel, Dhruv Suri, and Mr. Arshpreet Singh Thind and Aditya Rajkumar Chauhan. Arshpreet, unfortunately, missing the cut by a mere shot. A good friend of ours. A man mountain.
Mountain.
Proverbially, he's probably the strongest, physically strongest specimen that's ever played golf, but a genial person indeed, a very easygoing personality. So, unfortunately, having missed the cut by shot, but good showing.
So, our first look at Manu Gandas today. Manu Gandas, who's formerly been number 1 in the country. Starting up with rounds of 74 and 71 today at 1 over par. Manu here on the 16th hole, coming up for birdie from the front. Swami, as you join me back, you would, be a historian of sorts, so you'd know about pretty much every great player that has been around, every great champion that has existed in this country. And which year was it that Manu Gandas finished number 1 on the order of merit before he made his way out onto the DP World Tour?
Well, I think it shouldn't be too difficult to go there. Last year it was Veer Alawat, and before Veer Alawat, it was Manu Gandas, and before that it was Om Prakash Chauhan. So it would be 2023 that Manu Gandas topped the order of merit. And before that, it was Om Prakash Chauhan. So, actually, it was Manu Gandas who was the first one to go there. So it would be 2022. 2023 was Om Prakash Chauhan. He won the Challenge Tour event, and then he went on to top the order of merit in 2024. Veer Alawat had a fantastic season, and he went on to top the order of merit. So, in the last 3 years, when the new arrangement between the PGTI and the DP World Tour has been actually in place, we've had this amazing reward in terms of a full card, category 17, coming on for the players. So I think, Manu Gandas, of course, used that experience, is now back, and now, as he says, I want more.
And as we talk about the number 1s, Shankar Das, who himself has finished atop the money list here on the PGT of India a few years ago, and he also went around to ply his trade on the Asian Tour through the year after that.
See, that's been one of the hallmarks of the Indian players, the PGTI players, has been that they've consistently played around in the region, in the Asian Tour.
World's largest coal producing company, Coal India, powers the nation's foundation of success, meeting around 80% of India's coal demand and energizing nearly 70% of thermal power generation. 24/7 sustainable operations spread across 8 states, ensuring India keeps moving forward, diversifying for a greener future. Engaging with local communities through diversified activities and fulfilling 1 billion dreams. For 5 decades, we've been the economic cornerstone of India, unearthing energy and fueling growth. As we proudly launch our new Golden Jubilee logo to celebrate a journey that continues. Coal India, 5 decades of unearthing energy, powering lives.
I'm sorry, sir. My mistake.
पर हम भी जिद्दी हैं।
मुश्किल खड़ी है खोले सीना सामने चट्टान है मेरी जिद का बोले पसीना चट्टानों के अंदर आसमान है जिद क्या पावाली जिद क्या पावाली जिद क्या पावाली जिद।
Back to the screen, Manu Gandas. Manu Gandas is a very, very soft-spoken person, almost like, speaks in monosyllables. But of course, his golf is fantastic. He's improved a lot. He was, he was once telling me that he and Shubhankar Sharma played a lot of junior golf together. And it was good of them, it was good for both of them when Manu went on to the DP World Tour. They could spend a fair amount of time, and he said that he used to pick a lot of brains, and take a lot of suggestions from Shubhankar. And Shubhankar is like being the kind of a elder brother for him and for Veer Alawat this year. But of course, Shubhankar, as I mentioned, has went through a bit of club changes, and now he's kind of not producing the kind of results that he wants this season.
Fun fact is that Manu Gandas and Veer Alawat, used to be roommates while they were playing on the PGT of India, and thereafter, each of them has finished atop that leaderboard and moved on to those higher tours, and also going back and meeting up with their friend, whom you said has been lending an advisory hand to them. In fact, another fun fact to note is that as you and I would know Manu as someone who doesn't speak so much, and Veer would tell you a completely opposite story, and he would tell you how talkative he is back in the room. I've had that conversation with Veer a couple of times while we were playing tournaments, and I asked him, I said, so how is it back in the room? He said he's nothing like what you see him around here.
Oh my God! Next time I see Manu, I must button him on that. That's great to hear, because I'm sure he has a lot to discuss, a lot to share, and that's what the PGTI Tour has done. Created a camaraderie, which is so important. I mean, golf is such a lonely sport. They're right there when you're on the course for 4.5, 5 hours all by yourself, just with the caddy, and you have to see both the highs and lows.
As we take a look at Arjun Prasad on the 15th. Arjun moving himself up to 7 under par now for the tournament.
This is anyone's tournament right now.
A super putt there by Arjun Prasad. He's really getting things going, isn't he? And he's been knocking on that door for quite some time, and in fact, through the start of this year, Arjun has been pretty much standing on that door, waiting for it to open up. I think he just has to push it through now.
That's it. Keep knocking. It has to open ultimately.
Prasad makes that the other birdie at the 16th hole now. That would take him to 4 under par for the day. He's made birdies on hole number 6, 10th, 11th, and 14th, with a lone bogey on the 7th. 7th is a pretty treacherous par 4 here. It's one of the toughest fairways to hit, and even if you make it to the fairway, it's another treacherous green to hit. So not an easy feat, that one. In fact, interestingly, Arjun made an eagle yesterday on the 14th hole, and he's birdied that hole twice over and eagled it once, which is the par 5. Moving into the next par 5, Arjun would be playing the 17th hole where he made birdie yesterday. So can he catch another shot there or not? As we take a look back at Amardeep Malik coming in from that right bunker for this right side flag location. It's a tough shot. He'll have to really cook up something under that ball. Lots of spin required for him to take over. He's really needs to play that one carefully.
Oh no. He's still in the rough.
Well, that's still a lot of work to be done. Still on the low side of the hole, and looks like that's thick rough. We can't really see the ball.
Can't see the ball.
So it's going to be a tough up and down coming up for him. It doesn't seem like it is over yet for them.
That's Angachima.
Chima still will have about 6 feet left for a par. Not a bad attempt. He was a long way away.
Angats actually has, over the past season or two, has been putting in a lot of work. Of course, he always did, and he's actually shown great results and win a lot of top tens. And he's actually, in contention for the top prize. All he needs is one or two wins, and that's quite possible because he's one of the front runners on the tour right now.
Well, I'd say Angad has been a very consistent player through and through. Shaurya Bhattacharya also leaving himself on the short side of this hole, not even making it up onto that putting surface. So it looks like a tough hole here for the gentleman. It's the hole number 14th. Number 14th is a par 5. And today is 13 in and 6 from the right. Not the easiest of flag locations, given what's happening over here. Players really putting themselves up on the low side of that hole. It's going to be a tough one. Apologies, Shaurya Bhattacharya just about made it up onto the green. He's not off the green, so he's marked his ball and he's got the flat stick in his hand. The depth of the green on the 14th is 25 yards in from the front. Ahmedabad Malik coming up from off the green. Seems like he needs to pull off a good chip and run from here. That's what it seems like. Looks like he's trying to play the pop drop approach and let the ball roll. Pretty good attempt there by Ahmedabad Malik. Seems like he's not very happy with the read of the putt, but should not be too bad. About 2 feet away. What seems to be his attempt for par.
Even though Yuvraj seems to have a decent lead over the other Indians in terms of the prize money that he has, I mean, with the kind of prize money that we have, say, amounts like 2 lakhs ahead of Arjun Prasad, or even say 10 odd lakhs over, say, someone like Angachima, actually 14 lakhs, all it would take is a couple of wins, 1 or 2 wins, and these players are capable of that, and they would suddenly be catching up with the leader on the order of merit.
Absolutely. I mean, Arjun Prasad very much within striking distance, and with all the finishes, he's played 9 tournaments this year and finished top 10 in 6 of them. And I think he must have been top 5 in probably 4 out of those
Absolutely,
6 events. And so it's going to be an interesting fight there. Even Kalin Joshi now making his way up back at the top of that order of merit. He's also knocking along and playing well this week.
Going back to Arjun Prasad, he's on a streak of 5 successive top 10s. The worst he's had in the last 5 events is a seventh place at the Indorama Ventures in April. He was sixth at the Delhi Challenge, the tournament co-sanctioned with the hotel planner. That's the Challenge Tour. He was second at the Adani International Invitational. Indorama Ventures, he was seventh. Kellan's Open, he was again runner-up. And Kapil Dev Grant Thornton Invitational, he was sixth. So he's had two runner-ups finishes this season. So he's really knocking on the door. Knock, knock. And I think the third time it's going to open.
Angachima here on the 14th hole appears to be putting for birdie. It's like a hot and humid day here at Kensville, and Angachima would drain that one in. I will update you on the scores pretty soon. I'm assuming that Chima has made a birdie here and moved up to 10 under par for the tournament. Please await my confirmation. Don't hold a gun to my head for this one. Take a look at Amardeep Malik. Amardeep seems to be reading this, spending a little bit extra time than I would have thought on this putt. I think it's probably from this angle it looks like a 2-footer, but maybe it's about a 4-footer.
Angachima's really breathing down his neck.
Another player who's breathing down their neck is Karandeep Kochar, who is at 8 under par. And one guy who is trying to find his form is Udayan Mane, the Olympian, now at 6 under par. He's scintillating round today. Still got the 18th hole to play. Mane was having a bogey-free round. Amardeep Malik finding the bottom of the cup with that one. It seems to be a par for him.
There comes the umbrella, not for the rain, but for this severe sun there. Quite hot.
Jamal Hussain cleaning up. Jamal playing alongside Arjun Prasad, the gentleman whom we were just talking about and referring to. A guy who's been knocking on that door. It's about time he pushes through.
Rahul, have you closed, since you've also been closed in the tour, talk to us about some of the young talent which has come about on the tour. We see a lot of players with a fair amount of experience, like Amardeep Malik, Angachima, even Karandeep Kochar, then Mane, Arjun Prasad. What about the next lot? How good or how promising are all of them?
I think there's a lot of promising talent out there, Swami. As you can tell, there's players like Shaurya Bhattacharya and Saptak Talwar who are out there trying to ply their trade in international waters now, and you've got like Shaurya tried to go for the Asian Tour qualifying this year, didn't quite make his card, but he'll attempt again, and players like him are making their moves through. You've also got Veer Rawat now playing abroad most of the time. You've got players like Rakshit Dhaya now coming up. There's a lot of amateur golfers who are trying to make their way now onto the professional tours, those players are really going to be making the next dent, in my opinion, on the professional scene. So that's what I'm really looking forward to. A lot of the new guys coming up, I think they come in with a lot more firepower, which is really what is required for those international tours.
So the cupboard has got a lot of promise out there.
Absolutely. It's just a matter of time that we are going to really start hearing about them more often than we do right now. Arjun Prasad is one of them as well. I think Arjun is one player that I think once he just breaks through, we're going to see a lot more of him on those international tours, really making his way through.
And he has been consistent, so he's got his confidence out there. He just needs to convert that first win, and once he goes past the line, I think that will kind of motivate him to go for more.
Absolutely. Another young player in the field is Pranav Madikar. He's
Yes,
also a
Pranav
professional
Madikar,
golfer
yeah.
who is he's recently turned pro, and he's another player that I think we should look out for. All these players are the former top amateurs of the country, and if they keep going the way they are going, I think sky's the limit.
Actually, I mean, it has a lot to do with the prize purse also. I mean, with no purse less than a crore of rupees and the winner taking home 15 lakhs, I think that's a handy sum, which is a massive motivation for these boys to work really hard. And I see that last couple of seasons, players like Om Prakash Chauhan and Veer Alawat actually crossed the 1 crore mark in terms of just sheer prize money from the Indian tour, and I think that speaks volumes, of the progress the tour itself has made, not just the players.
Absolutely. In fact, it's the progress of the players and the tour kind of goes hand in hand. The depth of the field, the amount of competition that has increased over the past couple of years. I think it's extremely important so that we can find ourselves Olympians and medalists, as well as international tour winners and major winners for that matter. Going into the future, the only way to do it is the rising money on the tour, gives rise to more and more competition. More and more competition gives rise to better players. The cream really comes up, and then the next thing you know, you've got international champions.
And just before Om Prakash Chauhan, we saw Abhinav Lohan clean up that, a former India teammate of Rahul, at the Asian Games. It's been a long. I don't even. It doesn't even look like as if like almost 15 years have passed. Since the time you guys won the Asian Games medal. It seems like just a few years ago, and suddenly you realize it's a decade and a half.
I think it just helps for it to be happening only once in 4 years. But yes, it has been that long.
Yeah.
Incredible. I mean, I never looked at it that way, to be honest, but it seems a long way back, but I never thought of it as 15 years.
15 years. I mean, that's a.
Wow.
It looks so long.
Wow.
And I still remember from that, the Asian Games golf event. Immediately after that, Rashid Khan turned professional, and so did you, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, I think I turned pro about just a few months after Rashid did.
Yes. Kapil Dev was also represented India in golf tournaments. Yes, indeed, at the mid amateurs and the amateurs. He actually did have ambitions of wanting to be. Yes, he wanted to represent India at the Asian Games. This was soon after he had given up, finished with cricket. And he actually, in an interview, he actually told me that he wanted to represent India at the Asian Games so that he could become a double international. Unfortunately, his cricket commitments at that time made golf only a pastime for him. And now it's become more than a pastime. It's such a huge responsibility as the president of the PGTI and as his CEO, Amandeep Joel, a former professional on the Indian Tour, the Asian Tour, and also a few European Tour events. He says Kapil has opened a lot of doors for us. Yes, and I can see Rahul pointing out that scoreboard, Amandeep Malik has been caught up by Angad Chima, who had that birdie on the 15th, if I'm not wrong. So he should have gone, on the 14th, par 5 14. So that puts him to 10 under, and he catches up with Amandeep Malik.
So we take a look at Udayan Mane, who is at 6 under par, playing a bogey-free round today, walking up onto that 18th green. Superb round there by Udayan. Udayan also trying to find his best form. Hasn't quite, shown us his best since the Olympics, but we are waiting for him to go again. Back-to-back rounds of 6 under par. He shot a 6 under par round yesterday as well with a lone bogey on that scorecard. Hopefully today he would have the absolute cleanest of rounds. And what do you think about bogey-free rounds, Swami? Would you rather have 10 birdies and a bogey or two, or would you rather have an 8 under par straight?
So I think both have their merits. Pars, the way Angad Chima had his front nine all pars, it shows a great amount of consistency and patience. In the sense, you can't afford to kind of lose your head over a few putts not dropping at the crucial point.
And that is Rakshit Dahiya, the amateur golfer who is in the field. Rakshit playing to 1 under par for the day, and now 2 under par for the tournament. Quite a commendable feat for an amateur who is probably playing in one of his first few professional events. Currently at 10th position. So superb stuff there by Rakshit Dahiya.
Probably testing grounds to see if he can turn pro or when.
Absolutely, I think that should be a good idea. In fact, most amateurs, I would think, should actually come out and try to play, a couple of professional events every year, just to see how well they really fare amongst them. Rakshit playing alongside Mohammad Azhar and Anshul Kaptial. Anshul Kaptial also a new player on the PGT of India.
So all these youngsters, I think the if the amateurs could get a few more spots into the PGTI, which I believe they're trying to get in, trying to make place for, that would mean a lot for these amateurs, and give them a chance to test themselves with the top pros, and then take a call rather than jump and then decide to kind of make a decision. So.
Anshul Kaptial is all of 20 years of age, turned professional only in 2024. Comes from Delhi. He's had just the start of his career. He's had two top tens this year, one at the Indorama Ventures Golf Championship and one at the Ahmedabad Golf Championship.
It seems to be a young man's game now. In years past, that experience used to definitely have a premium. I don't know if that's quite the case anymore. You have precocious youngsters who are really just raring to go and chomping at the bit, so as to speak, and perform at the first given opportunity. For me and a lot of others I remember from my time, it was not the case. Only a few exceptional ones could really hit the ground running, but not the case anymore.
Mohammad Azhar from Hyderabad Golf Association turned professional in 2020, all of 26 years of age. Another player to look out for is Mohammad Azhar. Azhar this week at 1 over par for the tournament and 3 over par for the day today. Not quite having it his way. So we take a look back on our screens.
It's going to be a testing shot from around the greens.
It's Anshul Kaptial, if I'm not wrong. Yes, it is Anshul Kaptial. They're coming up from the right side of the green here on the par 5, the 17th hole.
Yes, a narrow fairway and a long par 5 with the OB running along the entire left-hand side. What was your club of choice when you used to play this hole, Raul?
What a hole this is, right? 621 yards.
It's a beautiful hole, I'll tell you that much.
It's really tough hole, but I actually preferred playing this hole in harder conditions, of course, for obvious reasons, because one could really make the ball run a lot and try to get it up onto the green. Nearly plays like a links course, this golf course, when it's playing in January and February. But it's a tough hole to play. I mean, club of choice definitely is the driver off the tee, and but I even like the way the green is designed over here. It's not extremely large. It's a very meticulously designed green. You have to place your second shot very carefully if you want to attack any of these flag locations.
I remember some of these flag locations are not easy either. 2-putt was not easy. There was a hanging sort of a flag here, if I remember, to the right of the green, and a bunker there as well. So very difficult green as well. So you traverse the entire length of 621 yards, and then you're faced with a treacherous green.
Absolutely, and that bunker on that, as we can see on the screen, that's on the left side of the green, and that's a downhill shot if you're in that bunker. So good luck to get it close from there. So each side, the green is pretty much guarded from all angles, and it's a tough shot. And if that pin's perched up on that top right location, it's an even tougher shot, because there's a swale that kind of goes away from you. And if you haven't hit that wedge shot well, God save you to make that par.
Yeah, it's a beautiful hole, and you can actually make a birdie and a bogey within the blink of an eye. You
Pretty much anything can happen.
You really have to earn your birdie, though.
Yes. In fact, there's a lot of holes in Kensville which, they have a risk and reward feature to them. There'll be some of them which you can really go on and attack, and some of them which you have to be really conservative on. And yes, you're right. There is a surprise element there on the golf course. In fact, some of the holes today, like the 11th and the 12th hole where the pins are placed, those are tough locations for some flags and tough locations for players to be attacking at.
Yes, indeed. And you also made a very important point that playing this golf course in warmer conditions offers you a very different experience altogether as to this one. This is like probably the most difficult it can play.
I spoke with some of the players, and the wind opposite of what they are used to playing on this course. Anshul Kaptial Unfortunately, wouldn't find the bottom of the cup there. Knocks that one in. One-handed knock, I wouldn't suggest you try it at home.
Yeah, that's going to be a familiar theme this week. Not many balls are going to find the bottom of the cup.
They're just tough playing conditions here at the Kensville.
We were discussing the winning score, and we've seen that the top 8 are all under par, and the pick of the lot is Udyan Mane, who's 6 under par for the day. Although I think there is a slight error maybe on hole number 10. I don't quite recall if he made birdie, so might be 5 under for the day. Shaurya Bhattacharya, 4 under for the tournament. It's really shaping up to be a brilliant final day tomorrow, and it's going to have the best challengers. Amardeep Malik still holding on to the lead. Angad Chima giving him company. As I say, it's lonely at the top, but not at the moment. There's 2 to tango here in Ahmedabad. We bring to you Coal India Open 2025. I'm Shaurya Singh alongside Mr. Swami and Rahul Bajaj. And we aim to bring you the best coverage. And for those of you who are following us on social media or watching this on YouTube Live, Facebook, or on your TV, please feel free to leave some comments and questions that you have about this beautiful game called golf. And also, if you want to know anything about your favorite players, and I would also implore you that you look at our schedule. We traverse the entire length and breadth of our beautiful nation. And where we go next off to is we will be heading to Mysuru for the Mysuru Open. Then for the PGTI Clover Greens in Tamil Nadu. And then for Zion Hills Golf at Kolar, and then Chennai, then Hyderabad, and then Coimbatore. So this is the southern swing, so as to speak.
Absolutely, lots of filter coffee to be consumed, and some of the new courses here on this calendar this year, like the Zion Hills, the Clover Greens, Mysore happened last year as well. So some of these new courses are going to make things interesting for the players. It's it challenges them. There are some courses like the Coimbatore Golf Club that they know already, like the Hyderabad Golf Association, and even Kensville for that matter. Even though the course they say is playing absolutely opposite of their expectations, it's interesting for the players to actually land up at these new courses, and it'd be interesting for us guys to actually watch and see what the players really produce at these unknown new locations.
And it also shows you the growth of the game. New venues, you have new partners on tour, and I think overall it's a very heartening scene. And you're also seeing just the abundant youth and the talent on display on the professional golf tour of India. Our players really are performing well. You see a lot of our players playing on international tours. What has happened that we have a wide array of golfers now who are playing overseas, and there's a wide, it's very good, strong bench strength, so as to speak, as well. We have the next gen tour as well on the professional golf tour of India. That's for the players who are outside of the top 60, and that itself offers some good tournaments and good prize money. So you've seen where the game has come, and the golfers are responding as well.
It's interesting and heartening to see the number of junior golfers that are coming up in the country. There's so many of them now, trying to turn into professional golfers. So it's amazing to see the number of kids who can be found at pretty much every golf course these days.
It goes to the fact that golf now, as we have a look at Abhinav Lohan, is considered as a legitimate profession. That shows you that the sport has indeed come quite a fair distance and grown in stature.
Lohan currently at even par for the tournament.
Your silver medalist teammate, and a good putt.
Runs that one by up slightly. He's always been a good putter and a good driver. Two of the most important things in golf, I would say, especially in terms of scoring deep, no matter which golf course you're playing on.
I would say another facet of his game is from 100 yards and in. He has that very piercing trajectory from that distance. That sort of owing to the technique he employs. I remember he went to Mike Bender back in the day. I'm not quite certain who he's working with now, but he had that sort of dead hand hit, which used to really compress the ball and keep it low. So that was a sight to behold. It's pretty similar to what Zach Johnson back in the day used to hit. So
Absolutely.
low 100-yard draws, which were very penetrating.
Both the players happen to be Mike Bender's students. In fact, I think Abhinav learned most of his golf there to start with, and moving on forward, once he turned professional, I think he changed over and now he works with someone else. But yes, you're right. Most of his game does revolve around that sort of a technique, and you can tell that it's very pronounced in the action that he makes.
Yeah, sort of stays low. You can see that head stays low a little longer. Try to hit try to put a stronger hit on the ball. Turn it over from right to left, as you have a look at Om Prakash Chauhan, diametrically opposite, I would say.
Absolutely. In fact, I was just about to say that OP is completely opposite of that. Hits a really solid bunt cut is what OP hits. Very highly compressed golf balls at all times. And then given that, OP still has a great chance at the European Challenge Tour as well as the European Tour because of the kind of ball flight that he's able to produce.
I also like his brisk clip. Very unique in the way that he walks. Shows you that he's always very, he's got that spring in his step.
Just like you, Shaurya, just like you.
I wish. And the referees would definitely want that. Whenever I do line up for a tournament, it's always a joyous moment between myself and the referees. They say this week we will ask the Professional Golf Tour of India to pay us double because we'll have to keep more watch on you.
When was the last qualifying school that happened at Kensville?
That would be almost, I think, half a dozen. 6 years ago, I think, 6 years ago. Yeah.
And that usually happens in January. That makes the golf course pretty hard and fast, right?
Yes.
Tees would be up front, but even playing a hard and fast course is not easy because you've got to be able to judge your shots. How are you going to stop them onto the greens? That's also quite tough. We take a look at Ravi Kumar.
Oh, has he got it?
It's hanging right there.
That's a cliffhanger right there. Needs a whiff of wind.
Anytime
now. A touch of luck.
He's trying his level best.
Maybe any moment now.
Call out for the gods.
Not today.
One-handed maestro, Ravi Kumar.
Luhan now. One of the few players who is still opting for the trousers. A traditionalist, so as to speak. He's been a very consistent professional golfer as Lohan.
Absolutely. He's been out there for many years now. I think he turned pro in 2011, if I'm not wrong. And it's been 14 years of professional golf for him. And absolutely, he's been steadily up there through and through.
Udian Mane is reeling off birdies after birdie on the back nine. Now at 6 under par, 4 behind the leaders. Abhinav Lohan with a little bit of work left. And made short work of it. Well done. From the golfers who are out on the golf course, let's see what are some of the good numbers going around. N. Thangaraja, Arjun Sharma, Dhruv Sharon, 2 under, 2 under, and 3 under par. You also have Jamal Hussain from Bangladesh, 2 under par for the day.
And so did N. Thangaraja, another.
I'm sorry, sir. My mistake.
पर हम भी जिद्दी है
मुश्किल खड़ी है खोले सीना सामने एक चट्टान है मेरी जिद का बोले पसीना चट्टानों के अंदर आसमान है जिद क्या पावाली जिद क्या पावाली जिद क्या पावाली जिद पढ़ता है खेलता है झूलता उछलता है दौड़ता कभी कभी दौड़ कराता है आगे आगे बढ़ता है इंडिया अमूल दूध पीता है इंडिया
as we get back to the aerial view of the Kensville Golf and Country Club. This lush green overview of the golf course with the clubhouse right there in the middle of it. An amazing setting to be in, flanked by 15 holes which have trouble on the left side of the fairway. Lots of water hazards to contend with. Wind tends to pick up quite a bit in this area. In fact, it happens to be Nal Sarovar Bird Sanctuary, not very far away from this golf course. Happens to be maybe a half an hour or 45-minute drive from this golf course, where migratory birds come in. Lots of people from across the world, actually photographers as well as bird watchers, coming in to see these migratory birds at the Nal Sarovar Bird Sanctuary. We take a look at our leader group here. A couple of birdies that they need to.
They are here at hole number 15.
It seems like they're saving their birds for another day, or are they going to roll them in? Amardeep Malik at 10 under par.
Seems like Amardeep Malik is due for a putt. He's been burning the edges and has not luck has not favored him on the green thus far. Let's see if that turns around this time. That should break now, and surprising that stayed on. I thought it would break a little bit to his left.
It seems like Angad Chima is surprised as much as Amardeep Malik is. Hand over the microphone now to Mr. Krishnaswamy.
Thank you, Rahul. Shaurya Bhattacharya at the 16th. The greens have been pretty perplexing for all these young men.
Yeah, this should be a makeable putt for him. Left, right, downhill. Speed should not be an issue, and I look for him to make this one. Oh, that need to hit that a little firmer.
That slow walk, the drooping shoulders, telling the story. He wanted that. He expected it. It doesn't. It's been a while since he dropped a birdie.
I think he let that one get away. He would have been thinking that it was fairly makeable for him, given his putting prowess. But not to be. He has another hole, the par 5.
Meanwhile, this is the man who's making big moves today, Angad Chima. Birdies on 12, 13, 14, 3 in a row have brought him alongside Amardeep Malik.
Angad Chima with a tricky little putt. And we've seen that these are the ones that have perplexed the majority of the field. It's very difficult to get an exacting read on these. It has to be a little bit of a Hail Mary. He's done well here, has Angad.
Did kiss that edge for a brief microsecond. And then, of course, joy. And you can see that in his walk. 2 more holes to go. Will he go in with the lead? Will he share it with Amardeep Malik?
In other news, we also have the legend Mukesh Kumar still going strong. He's at 6-0 for the tournament, has made the cut. That's impressive, really. He is an ageless wonder.
I think he must be pretty close to 60 by now. And he is just amazing. I mean, I know he turned 50 quite some time back. And he was, I think, in his mid-50s or late 50s. I think he must be pretty much on the wrong side of the 50s. So
I think when he won that tournament at DGC, the Asian Tour event, he was already in his 50s, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, he was. I think that was quite some time back.
Really, he's an ageless Iron Man. If he's 60 and playing like he's 16, this is really something that is encouraging for the lot of us who are getting on in years. But there's a lot more golf to be played. So get back here on hole number 18. That is a really long putt and a decent effort there.
Shaurya, you would be thrilled to know that he has crossed 60. He turned 60 on the 1st of August 1965. He was born on the 1st of August 1965, so he is 6 days past his 60th birthday. And look at the man, he's still making the cut on the main tour.
We'd like to wish him a belated happy birthday, but what an inspiration he is. From humble backgrounds, a genial personality, and just a treasure trove of information. Has always helped the younger players. Whenever he decides to hang up his boots, I think he would be on top of that Hall of Fame. He's somebody that really deserves that accolade. He's a
The early part of his career, much of it is not recorded. There aren't records available of the time when he turned a professional, say, even before he was 20.
That's another good putt right here on hole number 18. That's a group of the amateur Rakshit Daya, Mohammad Azhar, and Anshul Kabadyal.
Rakshit Daya. Yeah, this is Rahul was mentioning a lot of these youngsters who will be coming up. Anshul is one of them. Rakshit is another one. Madikar and all these young lads. I mean, shows that golf is in good hands. Or at least there's another good crop coming up.
Yeah, it's important that you have this fresh pool of players every year turn professional. Um, it's like a pyramid where only the best can reach the top, and you really have to work hard every year to even keep your card. We've seen so many players who
Absolutely. It's like you've got to renew your contract each year at your job. At the end of the year, your appraisal comes in the form of your position on the order of merit, and here you are, Shaurya, on the screen.
Yes, we'd like to welcome our viewers. That is Mr. Swami and myself, Shaurya, here from the studio. And we've really enjoyed bringing to you live golf from Ahmedabad. Right here for the Coal India Open 2025. And we've seen some really good golf, haven't we, Mr. Swami? We've seen
Yes, I mean, the opening event of the second half of the season, a packed second half. I think about 11 tournaments, if I'm not wrong. You had the count shot here, and at least a crore of prize money for each one of them, 15% of that going to the winners. And of course, the very, very big prize waiting at the end of the season in the form of a tour card for the DP World Tour.
Yeah, it's the 12th tournament and so many more to go. When we talk about statistics, let's also have a look at who's ruling the roost, so as to speak. We have Yuvraj Sandhu, a man of pedigree, 54 lakhs, 67,000, leading. You have Joshua Berry from England, Arjun Prasad in third position, Saptak Talwar, Sachin Bisoya, Om Prakash Chauhan, Kalam Joshi, Udyan Mane, Abhinav Lohan, and 10th position being rounded off by Angad Chima at 40 lakh. So you can see the prize funds have really increased. They've skyrocketed this year. If I'm not wrong, you could end up seeing maybe the 10th rank player easily crossing a crore in earnings.
Oh, well,
That would be stupendous.
That would be absolutely stupendous. But it may not happen this year. But I think very soon we could have that situation. Last couple of seasons, we've seen the order of merit winner easily go past that 1 crore mark. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's more than one or two this season. And from the way Kapil's been talking about the the increase in prize money for the next season has also.
This brand started a revolution, but not the kind you're thinking of.
I haven't studied enough history, so I have no clue.
4 letters, countless memories, one taste.
Can I get another hint?
It made India the largest milk producer in the world.
Milk producer. Can't guess for the top of my head. One more, please. Jesus, can you give me one more hint, please?
If I say utterly butterly delicious, you say?
Amul. Yeah, for sure. We've had it all our lives.
That girl in a polka dotted dress is India's longest running ad icon.
Oh, of course, it's Amul. Everyone knows about Amul. It's Amul, of course.
Founded in Anand, Gujarat, loved all over India.
That's Amul, Taste of India. I would like to thank Amul for coming on board and supporting the entire tour. I'm here to thank Amul from all the players.
Amul has come on board with providing all the protein needs of all the players. It gets hot, it gets tiring, we need nutrition, and the Taste of India has come on board to provide all those things for us.
Profession. So that kind of symbiosis is synergy is what we need. The players appreciating the sponsors and the sponsors giving it back for the players. So the growth of game is so hugely dependent on that kind of relationship.
Hole number 18 here, very interesting design. Have to lay up off the tee. Many of these players would be hitting a 3-iron. Maybe a rescue for some of the shorter players, or maybe a 3-wood depending on the wind conditions. If the wind is indeed oppressive and from the player's front, then you would find some of the medium hitters hitting a 3-wood off the tee. There is out of bounds on the left hand side, as you can see, just beyond that cart path. And on the right, there's a little bit of shrubbery and thick rough. So it's one where accuracy of the tee is paramount. And then after that, you're left with anything from maybe a 9-iron to the front flag, or even up to a 7-iron for the back flag. Now, where Jamal is, would probably be having about 155, 158 odd yards. So maybe going in with a strong 9-iron here. He likes to hit a draw from the right. Let's see how he does here. Takes that club inside and really forces it with the entire body, and still does a really good job. Look at that shot, decent shot. Worked out about 20 feet for Jamal. Not totally happy or satisfied with that effort. He would have wanted it to be a little closer.
As things stand. So you were about to say something, Sharif?
I was just thinking where that pin position's placed. Probably not the best for Jamal because he favored the draw. So he would have had to stand almost at the right edge of the green and draw it back because the green slopes right to left as well. So maybe this flag pin position favors more of a fade player.
Coming to the closing stages of round 3, the moving day, and the honours currently being shared by Angad Chima and Amardeep Malik with 2 holes to go. At 10 under, the only 2 players to have reached the double digits. Under par, Karandeep coaches 7 under total. At one stage, it looked like actually really giving the leaders a run for their money, and then that late bogey on the 16th has pushed him down ever so slightly. And Uday and Mani, of course, after those 5 birdies and 6 holes at the start of the back 9, closed with 3 pars. That must have been a bit of a disappointment. When you had 5 birdies and 6 holes, then you have 3 pars in a row at the close. A bit of a letdown? Mentally?
Not really, but birdies are not always easy to come by.
Oh,
They
yes,
depend
of course not.
depends on how you ended up making the pars.
Okay.
And the final 3 holes here, I would say hole number 18, you have to hit a really good shot to make a birdie. 17 is not really a birdie hole in any capacity with that green and narrow fairway. So and 16th being a par 3 with again a mid iron. So I would say 15 is more of a 14, 15 are the ones that players really look to make birdies on, and maybe one of the last three also wouldn't feel too let down.
You're so right there, Shaurya. 16 has produced absolutely no birdies on the third day. There's not been a single birdie on the 16th today.
And even if you look at hole number 17, you'll find just like 3 birdies, 4 birdies, 5 birdies thus far. So this is not a hole that the players are really looking to attack.
So a tough finishing stretch out there.
Now over to my illustrious commentator, Mr. Rahul Bajaj, the man with the smooth voice, will regale you for the next, I would say, few minutes till I interject once again. Over to you, Rahul.
That was a glowing tribute to Rahul by Shaurya. Both of them having great fun.
Thank you, gentlemen, for that warm welcome. Action seems to continue over here. And need I ask you, Swami, what do you think? Whom do you think from behind can actually cook up something special tomorrow? Let's talk about that.
I still feel that Yuvraj Sandhu has a lot to play for. And he hasn't done too badly. Of course, he's stopped those bogey on 13 and 14, back-to-back bogeys, which was a bit of a setback for him. I think he's still got a lot in the tank out there. And I did speak to Yuvraj a few days back, and he was talking about how it means a lot the second half of the season. He's got a huge task ahead of himself. He has a lot of goals. He's been working very hard on his physical fitness. And of course, his father, who's probably his biggest fan. I'm sure, fathers are always the biggest fans of their children, regardless of the sport, hockey, football, tennis, golf, anything. But in Yuvraj's case, his father is always there walking around somewhere. Today I haven't seen him. I'm sure he might even turn up on the final day here at Kensville to see young Yuvraj battle it out to see how far or how further he can get away from the pack.
Arjun Prasad here on the 18th hole, putting for a birdie. You get a different kind of a look there of the stroke going up the hill. And Arjun would come up just a little shy of that hole, should make himself stay at 6 under par for the tournament, 3 under par for the day.
So if you look at the scoreboard right now, Angad and Amardeep at 10 under, 3 shots clear of Gorandeep Kocher. All of them 2 more holes to go. Udayan Mane is finished, the current clubhouse leader at 6 under. Udayan Mane, there was a time when he won about 3 or 4 tournaments on the trot, and at that point of time, he had overtaken his senior colleague Anirban Lahiri on the official world golf rankings. And that was I think the year of the Olympics. 2020 Tokyo Olympics, and unfortunately the Olympics were pushed back by a year, and then Udayan Mane was lucky enough to get in right at the last minute as the 60th entry when somebody else withdrew. And there was an interesting tale there about his getting in, and then later, of course, he played the Olympics alongside Anirban.
Jamal Hussain Mola there, giving it a firm one, a run for a birdie on the final hole. He also is at 3 under par for the day. Another player, I think, atop this leaderboard, Karandeep Kocher, is someone who has been looking to find his form. I think he's been working on a lot of changes in his golf game over the past 2 years, and does it seem like this is the week that it's all going to be coming together? I mean, at the end of the day, he's actually shot very consistent rounds so far at this event. He's gone around shooting 69-70, and today he is at 3 under par as well. So, another player who could really create some sort of damage out atop that leaderboard going into tomorrow.
Yes, Karandeep Kocher is actually capable of low scores. Remember, he is the guy who holds the record for being the youngest winner on the PGTI Tour. He was still an amateur at that point in time. I can't remember exactly the year. That was quite some time back. He's still very young. It's just that he's been around for so long that it seems a long time.
Karandeep Kocher actually turned pro pretty early on. He had a bit of a junior career and then played very short very shortly, after playing I think a year or so on the amateur tour, moved on straight away to the pro leagues, and he's been doing well ever since. In fact, Karandeep, I remember seeing him as a kid back at Chandigarh. The first time that I actually played over there, I remember him trotting along, a chubby little boy on the golf course. He was walking with us guys, and here we are now talking about him.
Well, I just saw that he turned professional way back in 2017, and he's still 26 years of age. So, I mean, he's been around for what, about 8 years now? Eighth year.
So all of 19,
yes,
or 18 when he turned pro. Incredible
He's been
view
quite
of
consistent
this.
this year. Apart from this 8th place, the top 10 right at the start of the season, there's been a bunch of top 20s in his last 3 or 4 events, but not any more top 10. It was at the Tata Steel PGTI Champ. There's the scoreboard there. Karandeep Kochayas, who's got 2 top 10s this year in the first 2 events, is now third on the leaderboard behind Chima and Malik.
So there are a few players on this leaderboard this week who are going to be gunning for a victory. They need, they're looking for a strong finish. Karandeep Kochar happens to be one of them. Amardeep Malik, after the birth of his first child, also looking for his victory. And Angad Chima, of course, he's one of those players who keeps knocking on the door. We've got Kochar now, who's had a hiatus for almost 2 years or so. We have Udayan Mane, who's been trying to find form. We have Arjun Prasad, who's knocking on the door. I mean, need I say, this is going to be an extremely interesting day tomorrow. And Yuvraj Sandhu himself, after being a top player and winning so many events over here just 2 years ago, is probably going to be another player who can go deep and low tomorrow. And knowing him, he's got that firepower inside him. So, and all in all, interesting bunch of players in that top 10. In fact, Shaurya Bhattacharya, who himself, has had 2 victories on his resume in the first 2 years itself. Now gunning for his third. Can he also cook up something early on in the day? It's waited to be seen. So we take a look back at our screens.
For someone like Shaurya, he would need to get off to a fast start on the final day to make a run for it. He's 5 behind at this stage. Not that 5 shots is huge. You just need a couple of lucky breaks and a little bit of help from the leaders, and you're suddenly out there.
Malik here now on the 17th hole, the par 5. An interesting hole, this par 5. It's a 620-yard hole, really long. Players can only get here in 3 shots, especially in these conditions. Maybe if the course is playing harder, players can try and go with 2 drivers, one off the deck and one off the tee, and try to make it up there, 620 yards. Amardeep Malik putting for birdie.
Nice.
We wait with bated breath. I think Amardeep under it. That one.
Absolutely. For a brief while, it actually looked like it might drop.
Maybe a bit too firm and a bit too low. Could have been a bit higher and could have then made its way into the bottom of the cup.
Have another look at
certainly
that.
Certainly more line on that one was required.
That's just a wee bit. I'm sure if he's in a share of the lead or slightly behind, he'll do that. That was a good chance for him to pick up a shot there.
Shaurya coming from over the hole. He's got about 4 feet. This ball's going to move from his right to the left. It's coming off a birdie on the 15th hole. Backline's been clean with just 1 birdie on the card. It's had a bit of a hiccupy start to the day today, with a 7 and a 5 on the third and the fourth holes, and then trying to strut along well. Unfortunately, that one's going to lip out. I'm going to tap that one in, which hopefully is for a par.
Still, I would say a good fight back. I mean, he's managed to stay in there, kept his head cool. I mean, losing 4 shots in the first 4 holes, especially on the third and the fourth. I mean, it was great to see, good to see a young man like this stay calm in such a situation. Dropping 4 shots early can actually be catastrophic.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you. And he's also playing alongside players who you can say are have been probably now veterans on the tour, Amardeep Malik and Angad Cheema. They've been up atop that leaderboard and on the tour for many more years than him. I think Amardeep has been pro for almost 20 plus years now.
Oh, yes. Guess that to drop.
Good save there by Amar. Still had about 4 feet, which cleaned up pretty well.
I call them as knee knockers.
They are.
Angad.
Cheema would have that swinging from the left to the right. Finds that one in the bottom of the cup. Going into that final hole, Cheema and Malik would stay tied atop that leaderboard as they move in to that 18th hole. The 18th hole is a dog leg to the left. Pretty interesting hole, that one. You've got to hit that tee shot about 260 odd yards with a creek in the middle and then find your way across that onto the other side.
One of the two holes that's not yielded a birdie today so far, the 16th and the 18th. Sure, I was mentioning a little while ago, I mean, the closing stretch has been a bit of a challenge for all the players. Not the easiest of stretches to pick up shots here. It's actually better to play it clean and we just go back with 3 safe pars like Uday and Mane did.
You think anyone from our leaders is going to be able to take on this 18th hole for a birdie? All of 430 yards from the tee to the green this hole. Pin is perched up today 18 yards from the front and 4 from the right. So, of course, I think the prudent play would be to leave yourself about 15 feet left of the hole, depending on the club you have in hand, and hopefully get that birdie going. Fine in the middle of the fairway, Shaurya Bhattacharya.
Oh, that's been a great tee shot.
Cheema seems to be going with the fairway wood here. Shaurya Bhattacharya unfortunately would have dropped one shot on the 17th, so that was a par putt that he had, and now back at 4 under par for the tournament. So take a look at Cheema. Cheema going with a fairway wood here on the 18th. Cheema has a peculiar way of aligning himself on the ball. He's a tall figure, and the way he perches himself up atop it is very different from most conventional setups that one would end up seeing. Great with his hands, very consistent ball striker with his Angad Cheema. Amardeep Malik. And the newly found pause at the top of his backswing. One, two, and go. The ball just about falling off the sky, just like a butterfly. All 3 players finding the middle of the fairway, and all of them in a pretty good place to be able to attack that flag.
And we have a poet in Rahul Bajaj. Dropping from the skies like a butterfly.
Well,
That is a good line, huh?
Line's what I have. Swami.
World's largest coal producing company, Coal India, powers the nation's foundation of success, meeting around 80% of India's coal demand and energizing nearly 70% of thermal power generation. 24/7 sustainable operations spread across 8 states, ensuring India keeps moving forward, diversifying for a greener future. Engaging with local communities through diversified activities and fulfilling 1 billion dreams. For 5 decades, we've been the economic cornerstone of India, unearthing energy and fueling growth. As we proudly launch our new Golden Jubilee logo to celebrate a journey that continues. Coal India, 5 decades of unearthing energy, powering lives.
I'm sorry, sir. My mistake.
पर हम भी जिद्दी है.
मुश्किल खड़ी है खोले सीना सामने चट्टान है मेरी जिद का बोले पसीना चट्टानों के अंदर आसमान है जिद क्या पावाली जिद क्या पावाली जिद क्या पावाली जिद.
As we get back to that 18th hole, we take a look at Kalin Joshi on the screen. I'm joined now by Shaurya Singh.
We are almost at the end of moving day, and what's your prognosis thus far? How's it been on the moving day, and has it turned out as expected?
Well, I think, Shaurya, that you and me had a certain prediction at the start of this day, and we thought we might be right, but seems like the players are making us stand wrong at this point of time. Leaders at that point were at 12 under par, and we had expected things to go up till about 15 under for the victory. So tomorrow is surely going to be an interesting day with so many players within striking distance and some really hungry guys out there.
Yeah, what we've also seen on the final day is that the pin positions tend to be a little more spicier, for lack of a better word. And if Mr. Chari stays true to form, then it would again be a low-scoring, difficult day. And today the wind has been fairly benign. If you see, the flag has not been fluttering much per se. So if the wind picks up, and it does on this golf course, and the final day always has a tendency of throwing up surprises. So it would be a difficult final day. So might just be a battle of attrition.
One of the interesting things that I see over here is that which of these guys do you think can really get off to a 4 under or so start in that front nine? And the guy who can fire up in the front nine is going to be the one who is going to breathe down these guys' necks.
I think yes. As of now, that the two of them are doing the roulette between each other. But mind you that the pursuers are not too far either, and we've seen Uday and Mane just reeled off birdies for fun. So, and that man on the screen right now, he is just prodigious. He can actually even shoot like a 7-8 under par. And so with a game like that, you have to be wary. He's at 5 under par, just 5 behind. So just a few birdies and gets his rhythm going.
I think Kocher is cleaned up there for a par, and I will confirm that shortly. Just come off with a birdie on that tough 17th hole, Karandeep Kocher. I think these three gentlemen in this group, I think Kocher, Kalin and Yuvraj have certainly had a conversation yesterday about their clothing.
Yep, pretty similar. On a golf course like this, good ball strikers are able to put daylight between themselves and the rest of the field, and it really compounds here the advantage for somebody who can have a good consistent hit on the ball on a shorter golf course. Sometimes it becomes a putting shootout match, but not here. Oh, look at that.
That ball just shot out.
Yeah, that sort of sped up after hitting the hole.
Yeah.
It was almost like...
I think he went for a firm, probably a firm tap in, and that just didn't work out well.
A la pinball kind of effect. It just sort of hit the hole and went the other way.
Crazy ball.
Yeah, that's what they call the slingshot effect.
That's
a celestial body going around another using gravity is what they call the slingshot effect, and that was in full display right there.
Now trying to remove all the thoughts of Kalin's putt from his mind, Yuvraj Sandhu contending for his own.
A much easier putt though, an uphill putt.
And cleans up nice and proper.
This would be, I can't quite remember, like we've been doing this for a while. I've not seen players missing putts from within 2 feet that often. So obviously this week is quite difficult for the players to sort of read the greens and get the correct line.
Take a look now at the leader group coming across onto the 18th green. Shaurya Bhattacharya from the fairway, currently at 4 under par for the tournament. 6 shots off the pace.
Coming in with a short hand, maybe just a 9 to that front flag, or maybe even a wedge. It's about playing about 150 yards from here, where he would be.
Yes, that seems like a mid iron to me, but maybe a pitching or a 9 iron.
Held that a little bit, wanted to ensure that it doesn't move too much to the left. And he's done a brilliant job. I think for once he will not have to worry about the putt.
Absolutely, and a good way to finish. After having a tough day out there at the office with a 6 on a par 5, missing a short putt. I think that's it's tough for any player, and good way to finish in. We take a look at Angad Chima now.
But I really like the way that he held it off. He ensured that it doesn't go left and right at the flag. So he attacked that right flag, and the ball really was, as they say, a frozen rope. As we have a look at Angad.
Chima with a very peculiar way of addressing the ball, as well as the checkpoint that he has.
Also another good swing.
Chima, of course, very experienced player. He won the Grant Thornton Invitational.
Another
just
beautiful
last year.
shot. Look at that. It's like
well, they're leaders for a reason.
It's like butterflies falling from the sky, gingerly on the green. He's taking a leaf out of your book, my friend.
A bit of pressure now on Amardeep Malik.
He'd feel left out if he doesn't get it within 5 feet.
He's probably trying to put this ball in the middle of the 2 golf balls already there on the green. That's.
Would you say he's coming from a more difficult angle? From the right-hand side, has a little less green to work with as opposed to the others, if you're in the middle?
Well, actually, the pin's a little bit towards the right side, so if anything, he's got a pretty decent angle coming towards this flag location. We can hold this one off, like you said. And unfortunately, that'll come up short off the green. Maybe he was a touch too cute with that.
Yeah, he was a little too aggressive, maybe. Try to bite off more than he could chew. And he's saying there was some wind that sometimes you can't quite... there you can see the hammer of Thor.
Sometimes, the ball can get caught up by a bit of a gust.
Yeah, you can see that animated discussion between him and Angad. Angad's probably telling him that the wind... was buffeting.
I think Angad's telling him that I wasn't the one who threw that wind at you, buddy.
Confused about the wind. That can happen. Margins are fine. And it'll be interesting to note who is going to sleep on that lead. Right here from the beautiful city of Ahmedabad, we bring to you Goal India Open 2025. Lush green golf course, thanks to the monsoons.
Interestingly, Coal India is also looking ahead to a greener future in line with its sustainability goals. The company is setting up 3,000 megawatt of solar power projects to offset the fossil fuel-based energy use. A significant move towards becoming a net zero energy company. It's a proud Maharatna public sector enterprise. Coal India Limited is not just committed to powering the nation, but doing so responsibly, sustainably, and with a deep sense of duty to the communities it serves. And one of the communities that it's associated with now is the golfing community. And Coal India Limited, one of the world's largest coal-producing companies. The world's largest coal-producing company. My apologies. Really looking finely at that line, as must any fine champion. Aerial view of that final green as our leaders make their way onto the 18th hole, this final hole of the penultimate day of the Coal India Open, the inaugural Coal India Open.
This is a distinctive look that the greens wear during the months, these monsoon months. The fairways look a lot more lush as compared to the green because the greens are cut a lot finer. Now let's see what sort of challenge does Amardeep Malik have here. Does he have a putt or a chip? He seems to have the putter out, so that's a good news indeed. It's coming from under the hole, so Still a makeable putt for him.
So that's a preferred lie at the fringe of the green. Meticulously placing that golf ball, Amardeep would have that putt for a birdie. Can Amardeep make that putt and move himself to 11 under par for the tournament? Keeping some gap between him and the others. Most experienced player in this group of players, and probably one of the most experienced players in this field of players, is Amar.
We just have to contend with that fringe, and I think he's done well. Let's see if he's put a good stroke on that. That's a fairly decent stroke. Maybe didn't quite lock the line down, but that's fine. He will be able to make his par.
Looks like the ball broke from the left to the right.
PGTI became a part of the official World Golf Ranking System, with all its events offering official World Golf Ranking points. And the PGTI also holds events in neighboring Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal, making it the premier tour of the South Asian region. The PGTI has also had many joint sanction events with the European Tour, the Asian Tour.
Interestingly, it's also one of the strongest domestic tours. In fact, not only domestic, it's also an international tour because of the openness of the tour. That's the reason that all of these players, international players, are able to come out here and ply their trade. In fact, the players who have made it to the weekend, international players who made it to the weekend, are Jamal Hussain, who's currently at -5 for the tournament, and Thangaraja from Sri Lanka, Badal Hussain from Bangladesh. We have Subhash Tamang from Nepal and Joshua Seal.
Look at that putt after that stellar golf shot. Looks a little slippery, and well done by Angad. So he would finish the day as the solo leader. But they'll have an opportunity again to go at it. The two of them would be playing together, Angad Chima alongside Amardeep Malik and Karandeep Kochar. Now Amardeep Malik cleaning up for his par. Well done. Good effort by Amardeep. He would shoot an even par today.
Amardeep Malik to stay at 10 under par. Not a bad place to be, right? Because it kind of takes the pressure off you of being the leader, and you have only one way to go.
Yes. Then it's only a solitary shot, so he's had a decent day. Just that the putter has been unwieldy today, so maybe he can work on that on the range and then fix that. And I'm pretty certain we'll be in for a stellar day tomorrow.
Nice.
And we've had a beautiful moving day. And one of the most prominent mover today has been Udayan Mane with a 6 under par today. Angad Chima would be leading the tournament with a 3 under par today. And all to play for tomorrow. Angad Chima leading, Amardeep Malik in second position. Karandeep Kochar, Udayan Mane, Arjun Prasad, Jamal Hussain, Yuvraj Sandhu. The prodigious Yuvraj Sandhu and Shaurya Bhattacharya, who's showed us some brilliant shots. None more so than this one on the final hole. Would be at 5 under par, also within striking distance. What's your take on this, and what do we have in store tomorrow?
Shaurya, an interesting day coming up for you, me, and Swami here in the commentary box. I think the action is going to be scintillating going into the final day. Like I said earlier, there are a lot of hungry players out there trying to catch hold of a victory this week, and all of them within striking distance. So any of them can get off to a hot start at the start of the day in that front nine, especially, it's not an easy front nine to contend with. But if someone can get off to a hot start there, I think it can be a very challenging final day for the leaders.
Yeah, it's been an interesting day thus far. We've seen low scores and, of course, on the opposite end of the spectrum as well, because the golf course has really bared its fangs, so to speak, today. So all to play for the players. Do stay for the highlights.
I'm sorry, sir. My mistake.
पर हम भी जिद्दी है।
मुश्किल खड़ी है, खोले सीना, सामने एक चट्टान है, मेरी जिद का बोले पसीना, चट्टानों के अंदर आसमान है, जिद क्या पावाली, जिद क्या पावाली, जिद क्या पावाली, जिद।
As we take a look here finally at the leaderboard after this penultimate day, we have Angad Chima atop at 11 under par. We have Amardeep Malik following closely, and a friend of Angad's actually at 10 under par. We've got Karandeep Kochar at 8 under, Udyan Mane at 6 under, tied alongside Arjun Prasad. Jamal Hussain from Bangladesh at 5 under par alongside Yuvraj Sandhu and Shaurya Bhattacharya. An interesting top 10 here coming up into this final day. Ladies and gentlemen, as me, Rahul Bajaj and Shaurya Singh, as well as Mr. Krishna Swamy, signing off from this commentary box as we take a look now at the highlights of this day.
Yeah, we'll just run you through the highlights as well. So the live action is over. We'll just have a look at what transpired during the day. Please stay tuned with us. We'll be bringing you the highlights package very shortly. Here's a look at all the action today. Brilliant shots of the action. Manu Gandas.
And that's O.P. Chauhan.
Om Prakash Chauhan on hole number 17. Long par 5.
So the interesting part is that all of them did have their chances. Some of them actually took them, grabbed them, and some just saw them slip by just like this. But here we are on the 18th. Shaurya. It's been a tale of some great shots and, of course, some really, really narrow misses there, all making for a very interesting third day. And we have right at the top of the leaderboard, Angad Chima and Amardeep Malik, the only two players in double digits under par, and Karandeep Kochar breathing down their neck, just 2 shots away.
Yeah, it's going to be all on the line tomorrow, and you'll see the players really going hell for leather. I expect a little more aggression on the front nine itself. So you'd see maybe a few players who are outside being a little aggressive, maybe going for broke. You've seen that the players on the professional golf tour of India, they don't play it safe. They're all attacking and they're aggressive. And, that leaderboard is very young. So you wouldn't be amiss to think that they're going to go for broke. And it's going to be an interesting final day's play. But this is a golf course that you have to strategize. You can't quite overpower it. So needs a good mix of brain and brawn tomorrow.
Shaurya, I feel that right at the end, those closing 3 holes could make all the difference in where the title goes and where the big purse goes. So we leave it with the final shots of the Kensville Golf and Country Club, and we wait for the 4th and final day of the Coal India Championships 2025.
Thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you again. And make sure that you tune in to any of your social media streams, your TV, phone, and don't miss it for the world. It's going to be one of the most memorable final days in recent memory. Thank you very much.